Hey everybody, greetings, and welcome back. I am Griffin Gaming, who has lost his voice still. How's everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Once again, I'm GriffinGamingRPG, and today's Tuesday, and I'm back from Los Angeles, California, here in the States, from CitizenCon 2953. And I'm still tired a little bit. I'm about maybe 75%, 80% back, because it was a very, very long weekend. But it was an awesome event. It sounds cliche, but it was the best one ever. And it was. This was my third CitizenCon, so it was really nice to be able to go to it. Hey, what's up, Unique? Really missed you, brother. I really would have really missed you. It would have been great to have you there. But congratulations again. I definitely understand family, and what an amazing thing being a granddad. I'm not there yet, but it's got to be very cool. All grandparents are always cool. Yeah, it was a good weekend. We had a really good time. The Soul Citizens, as you guys know, were there. We were in a booth. We had booth number 15. We were right by the entrance to the event. So we got a lot of traffic, and I got to talk to a lot of people. And it was just really a cool thing. We're going to get into some great detail on that on Sunday during our Sunday show. And I'm sure Thursday night or Thursday evening, Fast Card will probably talk about it on Soul Talk. So definitely, if you want to get reviews on how that went, that would be great. My part of it, I can talk about that because this is my channel. I ended up taking the train to Los Angeles. I took Amtrak from Chicago to Los Angeles. And Gio, good friend of mine who I've known since 2016, he joined me as well. We had our own rooms on the train, meals 3 times a day, drinks complimentary, and got to see the country. And got to spend a lot of time talking, vlogging. I shot a lot of videos, shot a lot of pictures. I'm going to put together a little video blog of the trip itself, and hopefully get that up within the next week. But it was a nice experience. It was different. We had a mechanical failure just a little bit outside of Los Angeles, but it didn't damper things. We were supposed to arrive at 8 a.m. We ended up getting in at 4:30 p.m. But the reason why it wasn't dampered is we were awake during the times we were having the problems. It was at night, so we were asleep. So when we woke up in the daytime, we were moving again. And so we got to see the country, which we would not have seen if we had been asleep. And we got to talk more. They gave us meals again, which were, extra meals that weren't originally included. And then I found out today I got a $200 voucher from them without even asking for it. I was going to put in a request for some type of compensation. And $200 is a decent amount of money. It didn't impact me in any negative way because the people from Soul Citizens were there, a couple of them ahead of time. And they did all the setup and stuff. So when I arrived, everything was in place. I didn't have to do squat. So that was just amazing. But I've got amazing folks that are a part of the team. And so special thanks to GoMap ATL, who just stepped in. He's that kind of guy. He's one of those people that likes to see things done well. And he's a guy of excellence. And he stepped in and he put everything. I moved one thing. Into a different spot. Otherwise, everything he set up was just spot on. So he's a great guy, really nice guy. And it was also nice to meet everyone. I got to meet, I knew Fast Cart, I knew Gio, but I got to meet Abdi Johan, I got to meet Yo-Yo Meg, I got to meet Big Black Gaming, and of course, as I said, Go Mob. So there were 7 of us there, and we had a great time. We went out to dinner Saturday night, had a great time with them. They're just really special folks, and I'm really blessed and fortunate to have them as a part of the team, along with all the people that are part of the Soul Citizen. So anyway, that's that. Fast Card, you're still in LA. Okay, Fast Card is listening while eating at IHOP. That's been his spot for breakfast in the morning. And so he is having a good breakfast. All I had was a bowl of cereal, Fast Card. So you're doing way better than I am. Let me drink something, excuse me. Okay. Okay, it's a little bit better, not much. All right, so let's get into it. What I want to do today is just get your reactions and talk to you. So this is one of those shows where, usually on Thursday therapy, but I want you guys, if you want to come in and share your thoughts about what we're watching, If there's something you see in particular, definitely drop it in the chat and, put it out there. Or if you want to come into Discord, my link is right there on the page. You click on it, it'll bring you right into the room with me and we can talk about it. If you just want to come in and hang in with me and talk about it, you can do that too. You don't have to wait for something. It's an open door for you to come in and share your thoughts. What we're going to be doing is going through the opening session of CitizenCon. I think the video is about 21 minutes, something like that. We may look a little bit of the opening with the Star Engine, but I'm not going to do the whole hour-and-a-half video because stopping and talking about everything, this will be a 3-hour show. It's going to be a little abbreviated today, not going to be a long show, but we'll get in at least a good hour probably talking, maybe a little bit longer. So if you want to come in, you're more than welcome. Shady, what's up? Captain Jones, what's going on? And Admiral Kusanagi, yeah, you guys come on in. Thank you guys for being here. Like I said, if you want to join me in the chat, I would love to have you guys listen. Shady, I don't know if you've ever come in before, but if you haven't, man, come on in. And Captain Jones, I know you got good stuff to say. Admiral, I know you do too. Unique, I know you'll have some thoughts. So if you guys want to come and just hang out, feel free. But if you just want to wait till something sparks in your head, that's cool too. So anyway, what time is it? It's that time. It's 1/4 the hour. Let's go ahead and start rolling this so we can start talking about it and stuff. Okay, here we go. And here we go. Mouse is in the wrong screen. Do I have audio? The music gets kind of loud from time to time, so I'm trying to balance me talking and the music is going to be a thing, so please let me know if it's funky. BSL, what's up, bro?
Bonjour, CitizenCon. We are so happy to be here. It's been so long to see you guys physically and just being able to interact has been fantastic so far. We're super excited about all this. The video you just watched outlined a lot of features in the Star Engine. It's a reminder of what makes this
online.
Give me 1 second, guys.
All right, 5. Huge part of both. I got one more thing to say.
Okay, this is not it.
So.
All right, so I thought, I downloaded this from CIG, and I thought that what I downloaded was the full presentation, but I forgot they're chopping the video up. So give me 1 second, because thankfully, yours truly had already downloaded the entire presentation. So give me a moment. No, I don't want to use that. I don't want to use that viewer. That's a wrong viewer. Yes, discontinue, get rid of that. I want to use this viewer here. By the way, my desktop doesn't look this junky. It's because I had to change the screen resolution, so all my icons go all over the place. So don't talk about me. Okay. All right, here we go. This should be it. Yes. Let me find where it starts. There. This is like a 6.5 hour long video, so this thing has to play catch up. Where's it at? Come on. Come on, where are you?
Go and meet your favorite Star Citizen streamers and content creators, as well as Astropub. We've got. Now that one was on the card. Talk about Salty Mike and make sure he gets his check. General Lounge. The General Lounge, where you can meet and greet with many of the CIG developers throughout the 2 days. There's a meet and greet schedule available. It's posted somewhere in the other area, so you can go and meet all your favorite developers and John Crew. Yes, I recycled the joke. Don't look at me. He knew it was coming. The VIP Lounge, where you can go and meet your developers if you are a little more important. I'm just trying to think who that is. There's a merch store where we have some fantastic swag this year. Hold on, I'm gonna show some, hold on. With this? Professional shows. Well, it's brand new. I need more arms. Star Citizen hoodie.
I got one of those. It's very cool. It's got Banu on one side and
it's got a wonderful Star Citizen logo.
Goma bought one of those for me. It's so cool.
Is it Banu or Xi'an? Who can tell me?
Both.
What?
Both.
What? Honestly, I can't understand what they're saying. It's in another language. Then we've also got this really cool Drake interplanetary trucker hat that's available in the merch store. I think it's also available online. It's pretty cool. You do have to have a normal size head for it to fit. Someday they'll make a hat for me. And then the coup de grace. You saw it first on a Star Citizen Live back in 2019 when folks who watched said, what an incredible waste of time.
Yeah. These sold like
Designed
crazy.
live on the show.
They sold like
the Star
crazy.
Citizen bobblehead. Look at this guy. Is that in focus? He's magnificent. And he comes in a really cool box with Clark Defense Industries. Look good on a shelf. You can do that here. Here, Luke. Or Jake.
The merch was real popular, guys. Real popular.
And of course, a secret area that was revealed recently on the web, a welcome to Pyro with a bunch of computers, roughly 150 computers. And what that's for, I'm also going to let the boss tell you because, again, I want to be here on day 2. So let's talk about the program. 2 days of programs, 2 days of programming representing the best stuff that our developers have to offer. Now, it's been 4 years since we've done a CitizenCon, live and in person. So maybe you've joined since the last one, so you don't really know what to expect. I want to prep you for this here. Everything that you're about to see today, and when I say everything, I mean everything that goes up on that big screen that's behind me or there on your stream, was created by the developers. Not a single marketing artist. Every single one of these developers have worked tirelessly for the last 2 months putting together this content to present to you. They made their slides, they wrote their text, they created their videos, because that's what CitizenCon is. You know, we got ISC, we got SCL, you know, that's my stuff, I do my thing, you know, but CitizenCon is where we let the developers go on stage and talk directly to you and share their work directly for you. So every time they go on stage, I need a big round of applause. When they go off the stage, I need a bigger round of applause because I told them they'd get it, and you're gonna make me look bad. So give me an example of that round of applause, everybody. All right. So let's run down the itinerary for today. At 11 a.m. Pacific, which is in roughly 22 minutes, Chris Roberts, founder and CEO, is going to take the stage, and he's going to do a keynote. He's going to talk about Star Citizen, past, present, future. He's going to set some stuff up. I don't want to spoil it, but I saw the notes, and he said he used his fidelity like 3 times. So prepare your bingo. After that is our big Shaping the Verse, the Future of Star Engine presentation. Now, whatever you think this is, I promise you, you're not prepared for it. This is, I got to think about how I do want to come back tomorrow. I'm going to let that present itself. But be in your seats, be ready. It's unlike anything we've ever done here at CitizenCon before. At roughly 12:45-ish, when we timed it out yesterday, Fix It and Fly It with Torsten and Guillermo from the EUPU feature team. They're gonna come and show you the current iteration of engineer, resource management, and true multi-crew gameplay. Check that out. Then around 1:50, these times are all approximate, you know, from our rehearsals yesterday. We got a cosplay contest hosted by Galactica, our social media manager. That's gonna be right there on the stage. Then we break for a lunch. We have a lunch break. 2 p.m. Pacific, we take 45 minutes. We recharge our batteries. We fix the things that broke in the first half, and we'll be back 45 minutes later with the stream. Then at 3 o'clock, it's Talking Ship, our annual presentation by the members of the ship team, where they're going to introduce some ships you're aware of, some ships you're not aware of, some ships you're not supposed to be aware of, but you are aware of. And then, yeah.
Hey, Angry PC Tech.
There's just no way
how are you, bud?
that.
Good to see you.
And then finally wrapping up the day is Navigating the Universe. That's with members of our UI team and everybody that's been talking about it on Twitch and YouTube, trying to figure out what it is. You're right. Be in your seats. It's effing awesome. So, and then of course we wrap up about 5 o'clock today. I'll go on the stage and I'll tell you all to come back on day 2. And then of course the Hall A for you people, or Hall B for people here in attendance, that'll stay open until about 7 p.m. So if you don't get a chance to see all the cool stuff in Hall
Angry.
B,
thank
because
you
you're
so
glued to
much for the
Hall A,
Prime
you
sub.
can do that for the next 2 hours.
You're awesome,
after,
dude. Thank
5
you.
p.m. So with that, I want
We
to
still got to connect too. I'm going to put an order in for you, okay?
In Hall B, Dan Haubrecht. Dan, take it away.
Welcome everyone to CitizenCon 2953. Let's give it up!
Got my CitizenCon shirt.
I heard a bunch of people over there.
Gobob got me this too.
We're back, baby,
guy.
after 4 long years. We are finally back at the Los Angeles Convention Center. It has been since 2019 in Manchester since we've been able to see your beautiful faces in person, and we've missed you so much. Now, if you're wondering who I am, that is a very valid question. I'm the community producer here at CIG. I produce the community content for many years. I produce subscriber content behind the scenes for many years, just like that bobblehead that you guys saw. You're welcome. And I also produced the Battle of the Bricks from last year, the charity stream we did with Eve. So I've been producing content behind the years for a while. If you guys have enjoyed the things I've been producing, let me know on socials. Use hashtag CitizenCon2953. If you guys have hated the things I've done, let me know on socials. Tweet me at DiscoLando. Sorry, Jared, you're just an easy target. Where am I right?
Let me stop real quick. Yeah, Eminence, I think everybody is, from the weekend. There was just a lot to take in. Fast Card and I, we kind of manned the booth throughout the whole event that we had. We had a big screen. I mean, like a big 60-foot freaking screen that we could see. I want to say, NFC, correct me if I'm wrong, if we got to watch 10% of the event, 15% of it, that was it. Because it was constant throughout the whole thing. We could see stuff, but we couldn't hear audio because people come talk to us. There's a big sound effect thing going on in the area, and they're going to show that. But this is like what they did this year. And, we were under NDA, so we couldn't talk about stuff ahead of time, but we could talk about it now. They had told us that they were doing this we told us what the theme was and everything and what the show was going to be about. But then they told us about that the community area was going to be done as a set, like a movie set or whatever. But they were going to theme it out like Pyro, like Ruin Station kind of thing, marketplace. And so we kind of had an idea if that's what they were going to do. When you came into this area, they had fog machines and everything, man. When you came in, it was like these big circular fans were spinning, like you were some industrialized area. And there's this constant rumbling that was in the area, sound effects that were going off, metal clanking and stuff. And then you would come into this area, which was all lit with, they had all types of trusses and lights up there. But it was a very, very cool, let's use the word immersion, right? That's what they were about this time. It was really about, and Smokey, fast card. It was really, really about immersion. So when you stepped into this area, it just set a certain mood for the whole weekend, Dan did a great job. A lot of people gave him a hard time, I was really kind of disappointed a little bit with some of the things that people were saying because they go, oh, get Disco out here. This guy's not talented. The guy had energy. He was having fun, and Disco can't be everywhere. And Fast Cart will tell you, Disco was everywhere. He was running all over the place during this whole thing. You could barely get a high from him because he was just busy. He was working. People forget that. He's working, right? He's not, he's not there to shake hands. He's got a job to do, and he did it well. But yeah, it was very, 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 very cool space. Very cool. Let's keep going here.
Right now, well, I'm at the community booth section here at Hall B of CitizenCon 2953. As you can see, everything is decorated to look like we are on Pyro. It is fantastic to see what an amazing job these booths have done to represent their orgs, their booths, their organizations, everything. It's so cool. We're going to be visiting a bunch of them throughout the weekend, so we're only going to focus on a few right now. Come follow me right this way. We're going to focus on one of the biggest community orgs in Star Citizen, Test Squadron. Now, I believe these guys are one of the biggest orgs in all of, video games, basically. You guys are, one of the biggest single-player orgs for a single...
Okay, so, first of all, Test Squadron, best squadron, because that is my org, okay? Let's see. Being in front of the camera that much is demanding, not to mention the organization. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Hey, Marzipan. Well, you sure showed him how to handle a microphone during the interview. Okay, thanks, Marzipan. Yeah, the people that you see on screen right now, on the left is Sethius. Sethius is one of the leaders. He's like third in command of our folks over at Test Squadron. Next to him is Chrome Ninja, which you guys know Chrome shows up later on during the show where Disco pulled him in to do a bit for the show, which was really funny. And to the right of him is Old Lefty, another one of the guys who's been around a long time, dedicated to the organization. Again, I got to come by there and swing by and see them. This is earlier part of the day. Later on, that flag that you see behind them, they had everybody from the org sign it. Then they had Dev sign it and Chris Roberts and everybody. They always do that as a tradition whenever we go to CitizenCon to represent who was there that year, who attended it. But they have good swag, a lot of fun. They are the largest org, not only in the Star Citizen community, but Test Squadron has the record for the highest gaming org in the Guinness Book of World Records. They are, they exceeded it a long time ago. I want to say they exceeded it when we were back at like around 12 or 15,000. I know we're over 20. I think we're approaching 30,000, or maybe we're there. I don't know. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous, but there's a method to the madness with that. And the method to the madness is this, that there are enough people in the org so that we should almost always have somebody in the game at any given time. Now that amount, and we can tell you now, even now when there's nothing going on, there's almost always somebody over in the channel. So the idea is that, let's say if you got 20,000 people, if you've got 500 people on all the time or 300 people on, that's enough so that you can come into the org and find people to do things with. You won't be out there by yourself. If you need help or assistance, there are people there that can help you. So don't get me wrong, nothing against small orgs. I ran an org once with 200 people. That was way too many people for me. If you're in a small org, it's cool, but you really have to coordinate a lot more when you've got a small org as to when people will be on, if you're going to play collectively, right? When are we all going to be on? When are we going to accomplish some things? And as you guys know, even though you can do things solo in test, not in test, in Star Citizen, there's a lot of stuff that you can do better if you're cooperating with other people. So anyway, that's my plug for Test Squadron. They're a great group. Let me keep it going here.
Game, right? You guys are like one of the biggest orgs for like a single game.
We're the largest organization for Star Citizen, as well as the Guinness Book World Records for the largest MMO guild.
You said it.
So they're kind of a big deal is what we're saying. They're here at the community booth section. They have a bunch of cool swag to give away. They focus on, professional gameplay. They focus on casual gameplay, all sort of career paths and job opportunities. If you guys are interested in checking out what it's like to test out the verse, check out Test Squadron right here on the community booth section. We're going to follow me this way now over to the United Space Confederation. In a world in which the man is out to get you, one org claims to maybe have your back. That's United Space Confederacy. They are a role-play focused org with an amazing, in-depth, lore-driven background. So if you guys are interested in
I gotta go check them out.
Where lore is this kind of driving passion and focus of why you guys would want to be playing Star Citizen,
he was really nice.
United Space Confederacy is the booth to be checking out. They're going to be doing some giveaways. So if you guys are here on the show floor, come swing by their booth. Ask them about what they're doing. They're going to be doing so much cool stuff. Ask them about their org. Ask them about who they are. We're so excited to have them as well.
We got to go check them out. Fast Car will tell you, we didn't get to go really visit with anybody. A lot of people thought when they went to 2 days that it'd be all they're doing is just taking their stuff and spreading it out. No, we were busy the whole 2 days. There was very little breathing room. Like there was never a time where nothing was going on. And even like when lunch came around, lunch was 1 hour. But there were over 3,000 people there, all going to eat all at the same time, because some people try to get in earlier, a little later. But my point is that as soon as you got through with something else was starting. So, and we were in this area and we didn't get to visit hardly anybody. If you did, it was just to stop over and say, hey, how you doing? How's it going today? Are you guys having a good time? Wow, this is really cool. Success. Hope everything goes well. And that was it. There really wasn't a lot of time.
As you can see over here, we have JRDF. I actually don't know if you're going to be able to see because there's so many people trying to buy their stuff right now. If you guys haven't heard of JRDF, well, congratulations on waking up from your medically induced coma, because they go with CitizenCon like chocolate and peanut butter. They have been part of CitizenCon since 2018 with the Dragonfly in Austin. We brought the Dragonfly back. We will be showing you that a little later, but if you guys have already checked out the digital goodies pack on the Pledge Store, well, you might have already gotten a glimpse. So go to robertspaceindustries.com, check out that digital goodies pack, and you'll be able to see what they brought here to CitizenCon 2953. But in addition to making large-scale things, and by the way, they also made some amazing stuff for our community booths. In addition to large-scale things, they make miniatures as well. So if you want to bring a little bit of the verse into your home, into your office, come check out JRDF. There was a line literally wrapped around the corner right before we went live. They are insanely busy, but if you come by their booth, they're doing giveaways for free stencils. So if you vote either Drake or I believe... Of course, I didn't write down the other manufacturer. It's Drake and I think Misk. I could be wrong. But one of those two manufacturers, you get a chance to win a free stencil of one of their new miniatures. So if you guys are here at the show floor, again, come check them out. They're going to be doing some cool stuff today, and they're selling some cool stuff as well. Literally, when this goes off the air, probably going to break out my wallet. So that's just how cool they are.
Hey, Uncertain Topinga, thank you. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, I know I got cut off earlier, guys. So if I'm repeating myself, please forgive me. But I was saying that JRDF or JDRF, they sold out on stuff. They only had the little miniature models that people cleaned them out. I'm assuming that they had enough stuff for 2 days, but their first day lot stuff just went out the window like crazy.
We're going to follow me back this way. Excuse me, everybody, making my way through. And sort of on the community booth side, we have the CIG section. We have the Interactables team making a live prop here at CitizenCon 2953. Again, if you guys have checked out the digital goodies pack, in that digital goodies pack is a trophy. It's a CitizenCon staple. We always include it in a digital goodies pack. Well, they're making it live here at the floor. Look at how cool that skull is. It's going to be part of the decoration of the trophy. These are members of our Interactables team in Manchester. They're currently making it live. And you can see if you look over there to the left, they're taking suggestions from members of the community. So if you guys want to make your mark here at CitizenCon 2953, come on over to the Interactables booth, start giving them a little bit more ideas, and maybe make your mark on history. Now, I don't think it can be said enough that we are so excited to have CitizenCon here for the first time in 4 years. I'm an LA native, so to have it here in my own backyard is beyond cool. It's beyond phenomenal. Everyone here who has worked so hard, whether they're at the community booths, whether they're just a regular person showing up, or they're a member of CIG who helped make this possible, we are so grateful that you guys are here. We hope you guys have been enjoying the sort of pyro sneak peek of the community booth so far. Like I said, we're going to be checking those out later this weekend, both later today and tomorrow. We're going to be trying to get all the booths, all the orgs, so you guys can see exactly what kind of passion and versatility and creativity drives the members of the verse. That's you guys. You guys are the reason why things like CitizenCon are possible. So we're going to come back over here. We're going to quickly talk to a couple more members of Test Squadron to get a little more about what they're about. We got Chrome, D-Seth, and D-Lefty. What's up, guys?
Poor Lefty. Look at his face. I feel so sorry for my brother. His name is O-Lefty, but, this was all on the fly. He thought it was D-Lefty. Poor guy.
How's it going? It's been really great. This is my first CitizenCon, and I've been loving it so far.
And so this is your first CitizenCon. What were your expectations coming here? Like, did you think that there was going to be like a pyro setting? What was kind of your bucket list, your wish list of what you hoped would be at CitizenCon?
I was hoping for pyro, but honestly, the way that everything has been set up is above and beyond my expectation. It's amazing to be here, and it's just, I expected a little bit, but the way that you guys have set everything up is outstanding.
Awesome. And do you guys have any advice for people who are trying to break into the verse? It can be overwhelming sometimes for new players trying to figure out what to do in Star Citizen. So do you guys, as part of Test Squadron, have any advice for new players who are trying to make their way into the verse?
Honestly, find a friend, find someone to play the system. The guide system that Star Citizen has set up is amazing and really helpful. Or to find an org like Test, you can find us on Discord, and we always have people that are willing to help you, whether that's over voice chat, over text. We will hop in and help you figure out the game, because it can be a little bit overwhelming, especially for new players, and that's what we're really here for, is really to make it enjoying.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Well, as I said, they're giving away some cool swag, so if you guys are here at CitizenCon, come check out their booth. We are beginning in 10 minutes for Hall A, so if you guys are here at CitizenCon, start making your way over to Hall A. We're beginning in just a few minutes. We're going to be talking about some more stuff here at the community booth before I kick it back over to Jared. We're going to be going over to United Space Confederation. I said Confederacy before. It's United Space Confederation. Excuse me, guys. So you guys are a role-play focused org. What made you guys sort of decide to come up with this amazing immersive backstory for your guys' org?
Well, I didn't quite catch the question.
What made you guys come up with such an intense lore-driven background for your org?
Oh man, we've been around since the beginning, and we saw the effort that was going into the creation of the story by CIG writers, and we want to dovetail into that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bold choice to go, you know what? We are anti everything that's currently in the game. We are going to be so anti-UEE, it's going to make you sick. So, but you guys are like slowly starting to make your way back into like polite society now that the messers are gone, now that we kind of have a new imperator. So what's kind of the direction you guys plan on taking USC?
Well, we like the ideal of creating a little irritation and rubbing up against the the man, if you will. And that's the direction we want to go, is to reestablish relations with the new government. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Like I said, we're going to be checking out the community booth.
They're going to be living in Levski, evidently. They're going to definitely be in Levski
Throughout the weekend, so be sure to come over here. I'm going to throw it back to Jared where we can kick off our first panel of the day. Jared, back to you, and we'll see you back here again at CitizenCon 2953.
Now, it's hard to gauge this room, guys, but this was a huge room. My understanding was this room held something over 5,000, and I know there was somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 of our people there. So it was really, really a lot of folks there. I could just tell you that there were a lot of people. It doesn't look like it maybe from here, but it was really a lot of people.
Thanks, Dan. He's somebody's nephew. We still haven't figured out whose. So we are here in Hall A with the community.
See if they pan and show it.
So as Dan said, if you're still hanging around in Hall B, it's very cool, but we are just a few minutes away from the start of the official CitizenCon 2953 festivities. So you want to make your way over here. 3,000 seats, still a few available. One next to my dad. Wave, Dad. You're not my dad. Where's my dad? There you are. I still owe you money.
Yeah.
All right.
You guys know Disco's father. He came over and hung out with us for a while. We had a real good conversation with him. He's a really nice guy. In fact, you know what? He gave me and Fast Cart his Dad Lando challenge coin. And it says Dad Lando with his portrait on it. This is in 3D. Call sign Kingfish. And on the back it says Clan Care, protect the verse. And he said, Disco doesn't even know I have these. So then when Disco came by later, we were like, did you know your dad had a challenge coin? He says, figures. Which was pretty funny, you know, but he's a very nice man. Very, very, very nice man. I met him years ago, but we got to really talk with him this time. It was really, really cool. Was that Chrome Tag? Chrome Tag, thank you for that follow. Appreciate that. All right, let's keep it rolling here.
So again, we're just a few short minutes away from CitizenCon 2953. Thank you for enduring our sales pitch during the pre-show. I told you, CitizenCon is entirely by the devs for the community, so we wanted to take a few minutes beforehand and do all our happy marketing stuff for you and everything. But we're just about to start, so with that, I'm gonna wrap up. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. We'll be back later on in the day. Up next
Thank you, socially.
is Chris Roberts. Then Shaking the Verse, the future of Star Engine. Grab yourself a snack, get a drink. You're not gonna wanna miss any of this. Stay tuned. We'll see you in a bit, everybody.
Good group of folks. I dare not move my video thing because it's a 7-hour-long video and I don't want to jump too far, so well, maybe I should give it a try. I mean, I'm sure you guys don't mind seeing faces. Maybe there's somebody here you might even know. But like I said, this room was really, really big. Let's see if I can ease it up a little bit. Still going. Here we go. I think we're getting there. No? Nope, going back the other way. Now, let's see if I can name some people here. Okay, guy with the Yacht Club shirt coming up on the left. That's Stim. that STEM citizen from Yacht Club. Okay, he was there. Doc Murray was also there from Yacht Club. Next to him are the guys from New Soul. That's Fist to Face. Those of you guys who know over at Soul Citizens that produced our music for our show, for all of our shows. In fact, they've done all the music for them. So that's Fist to Face, sitting next to STEM, and next to him is his father, Pops in Space. So they had some really good seats there at the show. They were in the front row, actually. And this was their first time going as well. I think STEM had been before, but I know it was New Soul's first time. Trying to move the needle here little by little, guys, because they took a little time to get the show started. By the way, there was the thing about, did they start on time? Yes, they did. They actually did start on time. And I told people they were going to start on time because they got union people working at this joint. This is when everybody was standing up on chairs and stuff. You know, kind of reflecting the state of the game. Move it up a little bit more. I wish I knew where the start time. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
You guys.
We want to see Chris come out. We do want to watch that. Come on, kick in.
Oh,
there we go.
CitizenCon 2953. It's really, really good to be back in front of all you guys in person after 4 years being shut away, doing it online. It's so great to see so many of you, old faces, new faces. And you're going to have a great show over this weekend. I think you guys have already been around a little bit. I mean, there's some fun stuff here. There's the alleyway, seedy alleyways, the checkmate station behind you, where I think a lot of our community orgs have set up their camp.
By the way, just so you guys will know, he said that the marketplace where we were, the community booth, was called Checkmate Station. That's the name of the station in Pyro, just so you guys will know. Some of you may have heard that already, but just in case you hadn't, that's where that name came from.
So definitely check that out. There's a Dragonfly replica with the Pyro paint job on. Get pictures taken on. We have the Atmo Esports first in-person flight or fight tournament, which I think will be really cool. And most importantly, we have 150 computers that you guys can get down and sit and start to play and experience the beginnings of Pyro.
Yeah, same here, Kai.
And I'd like everyone to know that the people that aren't here in person, we're going to be able to give select access to the Pyro Playground next week. So we'll have more details on that if you go to our website, robertspaceindustries.com, to find out how that works.
Now you guys know what he's talking about here. Now, again, like I said, because we're out in the community area, I saw this on the screen, but I couldn't hear because there was this talking to people, sounds and everything. But they are going to do this thing where they're going to allow people to come in and test Pyro starting next week or this week. There's a lottery system that they're going to do to help people come in and start working on it from that perspective. So I don't know how, we got to watch the video. Now, by the way, the only way you're going to see this now is to go on to their Twitch channel if you want to see everything, because the videos that they're putting out now are only showing the sessions. All that in between stuff like the interviews and stuff I just showed you, you're not going to see that on their channel. So, and I don't know how long it's going to stay on their Twitch. So I downloaded this so I could do it for my own editing purposes. But I do know they're doing this experimental thing coming up, and they're going to give details. If I knew the details, I'd give them to you, but I do know it's a lottery system. Okay. So keep your eyes open if you're interested. But they said, keep this in mind, it is going to be brutal. Please keep that in mind, that you're helping almost like on Evocati level of being able to assist getting Pyro ready. But if you're interested in it, you've got the kahunas and you got the time to put in for it, then, put in for it and see if you can get in.
This year is the most excited I've ever been at a CitizenCon. I think we're going to show some stuff that's going to blow your guys' minds. A lot of stuff we've been working on really hard, actually, for the last few years. Anyway, I can't wait to see what you guys think of it. And there's a lot of stuff that's been iterated on by Squadron 42. You guys will have probably noticed that the tasks have dried up on the task tracker.
I'm not using Twitch,
and you're going to sort of see the results of that over these next 2 days.
This video's downloaded onto my computer.
And a lot of what you're going to see is going to be coming into Star Citizen over the next 12 months. Even a few little things will come into 3.22 at the end of this year, but definitely next year, a lot of what you'll be seeing will be coming in, and it's going to make a dramatically different experience in Star Citizen. So I'm very, very excited on that. So to our opening presentation, I noticed there was a little concern occasionally in the community that they were afraid by the time Star Citizen finally becomes 1.0 releases, maybe our tech's going to be obsolete. But to paraphrase Mark Twain, or misquote Mark Twain, because I don't think he actually said this, the news of Star Citizen's obsolescence has been greatly exaggerated. We're always going to be evolving and improving, taking advantage of new technology, even long after Star Citizen is out of alpha and we're at 1.0 and below and beyond. So, hang on.
Teleprompter.
It's gone backwards now. It needs to, come back. There you go. Sorry. So we thought this CitizenCon would be a great place to share a lot of the tech we've been working on for the last couple of years. This presentation will be from our core technology group, which is what we formed our graphics on our online tech, audio tech, engine tech under, and they're responsible for building the tech and our engine that runs both Star Citizen and Squadron. And we're going to give you basically a session talking about some of the new stuff that's coming into the engine in the near future. But before I do that, we're going to run a little video here to remind ourselves just everything we have in Star Citizen and our tech does, because I think sometimes people don't realize everything that we can do all together. So let's run that video.
Okay, let me stop here before they run this. There are two things I want to highlight. One of them is Chris mentioned the concern about their engine and whether or not the game will still look relevant and look good. A lot of this started a while back. This isn't new, and it really jumped a little bit more when Unreal Engine was announced and released, when demos were coming out for that. And people were saying that Star Citizen is not going to be able to keep up, or that I even hear people now say Star Citizen's graphics look old. I don't know what they're gauging that against. And I want to be careful about how I say this, but Unreal Engine is designed to be a photorealistic engine. It is an entirely different animal. Their idea is to go for a very realistic looking, presentation. Star Citizen is not intending to be photorealistic. It is intended to be cinematic and to be have a lot of detail in it. And in each kind of engine has its own characteristic, and sometimes that characteristic fits within the world that it's in. So photorealistic is great, but photorealistic also taxes the system big time. Unreal is, I do some stuff in Unreal. It really pulls on your computer. And in an MMO setting where you've got, hundreds of thousands of people playing, the demands on it are going to be tremendous. And so, yeah, it may look pretty, but you got to have a really good system to run it. CIG has been migrating this thing from what was CryEngine to Lumberyard to Star Engine over the years. And there were a lot of people that questioned them even saying, well, why did they start with CryEngine? And then Chris, you can go back, we watch our, normally on Tuesday nights, I'm doing the 10 for the chairman, and they talk about why they picked CryEngine. But evidently as a coder and a developer, Chris saw that instead of starting out from the ground zero, which is a tremendous amount of work to start from nowhere with an engine, that there was enough there in CryEngine that they could take that as a good foundation and then eventually continue to code, change it, modify it, and make it into what they want. Some of you were around back in the day when we were 32-bit, we went to 64-bit. There's been a lot of changes in that program. It's not the same Crysis engine that was around back in the day. It is a whole nother monster now. It's changed. So I want people to get that out of their mind about it's the old CryEngine. It's not. They've taken a tremendous amount of that code out of there and created some other stuff with it. But there are games like No Man's Sky. It has its own genre. It has its own look. You know what I mean? So, take into consideration Star Citizen's look is its look, but they will continually upgrade it and keep it looking fresh, keep it looking good, so that it doesn't start to feel quote unquote dated or old. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind in this presentation. And let me say this too before I go. If you don't play the game enough, you may not see some of the things that we're going to see in this video. But as soon as I saw this video, the opening video, I saw immediately that there had been changes in the graphics. And I'm not saying that because I got some special eye. I'm just saying that when you're in it enough, you can see when they do a lighting pass or a graphics pass, when something has changed in the game. The detail in here has changed dramatically. One of the very first things you're going to see here that's very different are the F7As. And you guys all know that the F7 series, the Hornets, all need an upgrade. And in here, we see what the new F7s look like. So in case you didn't catch that, take a look at them. You'll see they're cleaner, sleeker. They don't have the old radiator look and all that other stuff from back in the day. They really do look nice. Hey, Tattoo, good to see you. Is it Tatua? Good to see you. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. I'm through talking. I've been talking too long. Here we go. The rubber ducky. I'm sure you were disappointed, guy. By the way, let me say this before we get started. Pedro Camacho laid out the music for this. You guys know also Jeff Zanelli has worked on the music for Squadron 42, and Pedro and some of the music we hear in Star Citizen. The music here is amazing. I'm going to say that now because I don't want to interrupt later, keep saying it, but the music in this presentation is simply amazing. Yeah, that's a good point, Tattoo. I know I keep interrupting, but there's so much I want to say about this, so please forgive me. Usually whenever we were doing past CitizenCons, quite often what they would do is kind of do a thing like, this is where we began. You know, you start back in 2012 and they kind of show where we go. These guys have refined the con now to the flow was just on point this year. You know, keep in mind that CIG is a growing company and it's evolving, and there are professionals there, but they're also doing some things that have not necessarily been done. Gaming conventions, yeah, sure, they're done all the time. We have all types of stuff, BlizzardCon and everything else, but they're doing stuff their way. But one of the things I want to say about this presentation is this presentation was done in such a way that if you're in the game already, you get it. But if you're new to the game, you get it. There was no reason to go back and show them back in the garage at Austin and all this other stuff, right? And buying moving into new studios, buying equipment, hiring. They didn't need to do that. People asked about Chris Roberts. You know, there's always been this thing about we want to hear from Chris Roberts, and people say, we don't want to hear from Chris Roberts. He talks too much. Just show us the stuff. I think they struck the balance on this one more than any other one. Chris came out, introduced himself. People were happy to see him, but this is what he did. This year, Chris said, I'm going to let the work speak for itself. There was no need to do explanations, breakdowns, or anything from him. There was no more the need of discussing vision, which is what CitizenCons were previously. This is what we would like to do. This is what we're working toward. This is what we want to do. This presentation and this particular CitizenCon was way more about this is what we've done, and this is what we're ready to give you. That seemed to be the sense of what I got from this. Other people may have read differently. So when you see them start here, they don't go to freaking, you know, Port O where we started, then Hurston, then R-Corp. They started Microtech, use it as a catalyst for showing what represents all of the Stanton system, and then they take it further. And you'll start to see, they start with the familiar, the stuff we know. If you look at it really closely, you'll see that it looks really, really good. And that's because this next pass of coming out is going to be graphically enhanced once again. But then you'll see them start introducing things that, wait a minute, that's not in the game. Well, that's because that's what they're getting ready to introduce into the game. And here's a cool thing. They didn't wait to go to Pyro to introduce these things. Some of that newness got introduced right here in Stanton, which was awesome. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Who is that who just came in? Risto Squared. Thank you for the follow. And as a Chrome Talk, thank you as well. If I didn't say that earlier, please forgive me. Thank you. And oh boy, did the presentation shout what they're doing. Yeah, it was amazing. Okay, here we go. Seamless transitions from space to ground. We're all familiar with that, right? Stanton 4, Michaelton. We all know this, but now, let me ask you this. Do you guys, don't forget, if you guys want to come in and talk to me during this presentation, just click on the link, come in. Do you think that this seamless thing, no boundaries, is that, even though CIG's been saying that forever, they've been saying it, it's not new. But do you think there's a little jab there towards Starfield? Do you think there's just a little jab towards Starfield? Or just the fact that we're letting people know who may have played Starfield and don't know anything about this game, that, hey, no loading screens over here. It's kind of curious what you guys think. All right, let's keep it going. Slap in their face. No, just a slight jab. Okay. Oh yes. I mean, they've been saying it forever, so it's not. I mean, they say it every year. It's not. It's beautiful. Sabian, welcome. Thank you for that follow. Sorry if I'm blasting, guys. I know the music got loud. You're right, T. It is beautiful. It's a great combination. Now, I won't say who, but there were some streamers, when they saw this, they joked around physicalized frozen ocean. And their response was, why do you need to physicalize an ocean? And they laughed. And I think it's a legitimate question we should be asking. What are they doing that they needed to physicalize the ocean? What's going on with that? Why would they make it so that the ocean that's ice could be interacted with? Possibility that maybe we'll drill through it one day? There you go, Admiral. Maybe some drilling. You wouldn't physicalize it unless there was some reason. I'm always getting a little frustrated with citizens who've been around a long time who don't yet get it, that this is much bigger than what's in our hands right now. That evidently there's something planned for that, and we need to be saying, ooh, what's that all about? Not like, why would you need to physicalize the ocean? That's all I'm going to say about that, y'all, but I've been around for a while. Hey, look at that. If it breaks up, that would be cool. Hey, remember The Mandalorian, season 1, episode 1, where he lands on the ice and the freaking creature comes out of it? Ooh, wouldn't that be kind of cool, right? That'd be pretty wild. All right, let me keep going. I know, but that's why we're going to go do the video, y'all, because I know I'm going to be talking through this. Let's keep going. Nice train. Stunner. Yeah, ice worm. Spaceport. Yeah, I can't wait till they expand the tram system. They did it for the IAE that one year, but we needed to get to the other places, right? Oh, look at this. Here we go. Highlighting. These are highlights, right? For people who don't play the game. Multi-crewing. Playing together. How many people did y'all see on the ship? How many people, if you had to count, how many people did you just see them pass through on this ship? And I keep telling people, people can say, oh, I'm going to take my character out, me and my 2 or 3 friends. At least socially, right? At least 8 people just down here. There are 3 people in the freaking cockpit. There were 3 people in the dining room. There were 2 or 3 people in the pool room. This thing that they're trying to create about multi-crewing and cooperative play, Todd, probably around 10. You haven't even got to engineering, right? Or the cartography room, or if was anybody in the turrets, maybe not because it wasn't needed. Engineering, I mean, folks better start thinking about when they got these big ships, what is it going to mean to operate these ships in the game? Yep, hot bunking, that's it socially. So we go from the snow biome, working our way over to more, tropic, different type of biome. Also, there's new cloud tech. You guys have seen that. They're adding the new layers in. In 321, you can see that now. Going to ArcCorp, you'll see layered clouds now. I love this cave. Somebody tell me if this cave is in here now or if this is what they're adding. Because this is a big cave. They've got a mole in here and there's 2 entrances. And I know they added new caves, but I haven't seen this one. I don't know if this is in here yet or not. Yes, absolutely, T. Definitely NPC multi-crew. Look at this. That's gorgeous. Look at the vehicles in there. Not yet? Okay. Yeah, I know the fly-in caves are there, but I didn't know if they had like that type of thing. Thanks, Kai. Because I know they got the big caves, new sand caves, but I hadn't seen on Microtech that double entrance cave. Ground fog, we know that they're going to put that in. Nice. Yep. So now the rivers drive the terrain. So you actually get the rivers are there because they naturally would flow. I went to Microtech and saw that some of the mountains where there's ice and stuff, the rivers start there and come down, which is new. Prospector. This is also nice, the new density of the forests and trees. By the way, if you have not gone in the game in a while, you will see now that we do have mountain ranges and stuff on the moons. Before, remember, everything was kind of flat. They've been doing this incrementally on the back end, bringing this stuff in now where you actually have hills and terrain, which is really nice when you go in. But you got to go visit these places to see them. The game does not look the way it looked a year ago. There's a lot of dramatic change. How many of you all saw this coming? I knew something was coming and I kept hoping maybe it's going to be. But this was great to see. Dynamic planetary winds driving the physics simulation. This here was so cool. Everybody's been waiting on this, right? We've been looking for fauna to start showing up. Here's the stuff that's being introduced now, right? Wind generator, Outposts. What do we got? A lot of stuff here. By the way, for those of you who watched the A1 trailer, everybody wooed about the A1, which, don't get me wrong, was very cool. But that scene opened up with the character at a farm with crops, which I caught. That was what was cool to me, was seeing that. Did you also notice there was a dog barking in the background? They've never introduced that before, but there were dogs barking. And we know that they're going to put pets in the game, at least they're supposed to. So I'm wondering if these are more hints and inklings to things that we're going to be trying to push out real quick. Yeah, there was a kid in that, and there was a kid also. Remember when they did the rock duo, whatever it's called? They said that they weren't going to do kids, but I don't know. I want them to put kids in the game. Yeah, I know people were about them blowing up kids and stuff like that, but I think you should be able to have kids at homesteads or something, and they're NPCs, and they just can kind of roam around your house like a pet or something. But that's about it if you want that. But I know that's going too deep for some folks, but for me, if we wanted to have a residence, I would love to do something like that. Anyway, here we go. Landing pad, little area there, very nice. All this stuff that will be able to be either purchased or built. They talked about that later in the thing. Right, T. Camera stuff was important. Put your dog to have LTI. All right, so they give us a nice little preview there of Microtech, right? Get some ideas of what's going on. Pull out. Look at that. The volumetric clouds in the planetary scale. See the layers? Very nice. Like I said, that's in there now. You know, the seamless transition stuff is something we're so used to, we don't think about it anymore, but it's truly a technological feat to do that in a game, especially at this scale. New jump effects, guys, new quantum effects, not wormhole, quantum. I love it. I love it. Love that. Yeah, it does, BSL. You're absolutely right. It does remind you of that. If you have not gone out into the belts now, the belts used to be very sparse. You know, you could fly through them. Sometimes you could fly through them without moving your ship. They are dense as all get out now, and the asteroids are moving. It is really, really cool to see this now at this scale. Look at the corona around the edges there of yellow. Very nice. Not a corona, but you guys know what I mean, the light thing. Music is beautiful. All right, take us to Crusader. You guys know that we do get true day and night. Even though the planets are not moving around Crusader Star, the planets are turning. Hey, Buster! Buster was there this weekend. We got to see Buster. She's awesome. Such a sweetie. This was a great setup because they flew us right past the statue, right, of the whales, the storm wall, which is a highlight of Orison. This was such a great setup, right? And we all kind of felt it coming, right? We felt it coming. Just till the violin comes in. Look at that. Look at that. Awesome, right? Okay, so we got a taste of Orison. Even my wife, when she saw those, she's like, wasn't those like in Star Wars? See, there's space whales. It's a pretty common thing. All right, we get another quantum jump here, the new quantum effect. Mind you, once again, this is not wormhole jumping. It's just the new quantum jump effect within the system. But very, very nice. Look at that. Beautiful clouds. The cloud is out there now. The wormhole is not. But if you have not been here before, the scale of these clouds is amazing. Go out and check it out. All right, we hit the runway, getting ready to head toward it. I love the new effect that they did for this. I'm glad. We know they weren't going to use a gate, a mechanical gate. But this is great. Great way to enter into a wormhole. Very nice. All right, we're on the other side. Now, one thing I will say before we go in here, when you guys get a chance to see this, and I know some of you did, if you went to the con, maybe you got a chance, everybody who saw this station said it was amazing. The amount of detail and work that they put into this thing was ridiculous. Space Tomato, who was there, did a video. You guys can go check it out. I think he has it on his Twitter. He has a video of him inside this station going into the lower bowels of this joint. He goes down like 7 levels. It is huge. And he still didn't get to the bottom. But when you see all the areas he goes through and climbs through and everything else, it is ridiculously, ridiculously cool. Really, really crazy. Thank you, Polysapien. Thank you. This thing is gigantic. When you walked away from this con, you felt like, I now understand why this is taking so long. As painful as it is. I get it. I get it. Look at the detail, guys. Look at the detail. Check this out. This caught everybody off guard. The body art, really nice. Look at the detail on that. You know people are gonna go crazy with that. You know it. Hey, Edgy Hales. Thanks for the follow. Welcome, welcome. working under the assumption that this is Ruin Station. I'm just assuming that because we've seen this several times in the videos. There are other locations in the Pyro system, many of which we will have to stumble across and find. They may not be on the map. But I will say this, like I told you guys, I didn't get to do the Pyro demo, but everyone I talked to who did it said it was amazing. And they talked about, well, I'll talk about that later, but let's just say that Pyro will be a difficult place to be in. I'll just put it to you that way. You know, it's going to be challenging when you go there. Hey, Black Intellect. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Tattoo. Okay. We go back and revisit Pyro 3. You guys remember last time when they took us to Pyro in the 400i? This is where we were. But we go back again. You always remember this is the one with all the yellow moss and stuff on the ground. You don't think it's ruined? Yeah, Shady, it may not be. Oh, that's right. It is Checkmate Station. That is what it is. Thank you. Thank you. That's why they mirrored the Marketplace Checkmate Station. Thank you, Shady. In fact, Ruin is much closer in toward the star. You're right. I didn't think about that. Thank you. This was great. My Reclaimer, my beloved Reclaimer. Thanks for coming in. I see Fast Car Tier 2. Yeah, Kai, what was it you were going to share, man? I'm sorry. I didn't know if it was something we passed already or whether it was where we are right now. What were your thoughts?
I mean, just a couple thoughts. Just to push back on the concept that the whole no loading screen thing is sort of a jab at. I don't think so. I don't think Chris Roberts considers anybody competition.
Right.
He's doing his own thing. As you quite rightly pointed out, they've been pointing out, hey, no loading screens, no whatever. That's been the goal from jump. Right. They've been going at it like crazy, and I don't see that as any kind of a catty little dig. I see that as just them reiterating their sort of vision of we're building, like he keeps saying, the best damn verse simulation. You know what I mean? It started out as a spaceship game, and it's not a spaceship game anymore. It's a universe, and that comes through in the body art on the people. That comes through. Sorry
to interrupt. Are you streaming right now? It doesn't look like you're live to me.
Yeah, he's live. Pause the screen, but if you look up at the top right corner, you'll see he's moving. You could just see him.
Yeah, I just the video frozen. Right, the video's just frozen while Kai's talking.
Yeah,
so we're not talking over it. Yep. But no, you're right, Kai. And to your point, that's why I think earlier when we started, I talked about how in some ways they're kind of introducing and reminding both new players as well as us, reminding us of the tech. Because that's what we're seeing in that bottom left corner, right? It's the accomplishments. And it is an accomplishment, Yep. So you're right. It's probably not a dig as much as it is that here's a highlight of what we've done, that this is there. Because some people, like I said, even for those of us who've been around for a long time, we've kind of forgotten that was a big thing back in the day, when it happened. Now we just get used to it. It's like somebody opening up your back door and looking at the stars. You get so used to it now you don't think anything about it. But for people who've never walked onto a ship, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're right. You're absolutely right. Absolutely.
And I mean, for the longest time, the dig against Star Citizen has been this. It's the most amazing sandbox in the galaxy. It's the most amazing sandbox in video gaming. That is completely sort of devoid of structured stuff to do. It's mostly like, here's a box, make your own fun.
Right.
And I think that a lot of what was demonstrated in this sitcon, when you take it as an aggregate from day 1 to day 2, is that, and I mean, especially with the announcement stuff that came in day 2, is that the vast majority of the team that has all been hyper focused on Squadron is now being released back to the PTU to like to Star Citizen to like, okay, we have the sandbox, now fill it with stuff. And if the server meshing thing, not to get too far ahead, but if the server meshing thing bears fruit, as I think we will see that it will do, it gives them the budget to actually do something with that.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's
You know, the other stuff that I had was on server budget and the base building and Squadron. So I'm going to let that go until you get to that point or whatever. But I see this as the only last thing I wanted to say is I really hope they rethink the thought process behind the whales, the space whales. I really, really, really hope that they change their mind on and I'm one that I'm like, hey man, I've been salty about a couple things where they changed their mind. I really hope they change their mind on that one, because the whole thing about that there would be some kind of a mineable resource on the tail. Yeah. It would break my heart to see people like killing the space whales or harming them in some way to like get some resource from them. Right. I really, 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 really you turn on the news and you've got, Israel, Palestine, and Ukraine, this, that, and the other, and global warming and this, that, and the other. I don't need my space game to full of like killing whales and just bumming me out, man. Please, God, Chris, change your mind on that.
Well, I've already said there is some hope here, because to your point, I went back and dug into some lore a couple of weeks ago about these. Evidently, they are supposed to be at a conservation area. They're not free roaming as much as we may think. Where like when they do the tours, you can't go in that area. You know what I mean? Now, whether they're wild ones or not is another story. And I've always said, my attitude about it is that if you do anything to harm these things, they should be incredibly aggressive. I mean, incredibly. Yes. You don't mess with them. You can fly next to them. But if you freaking mess with them, harm them, these suckers are freaking krakens in the air. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Or alternatively, make it to where, okay, the resource that you get off of their tail is some like calcium buildup, like fingernails or hair.
Something. Yeah,
and you have a special ship that mines it, and they actually appreciate that. Like you have in nature, you have those morays and lampreys, and you have the little stuff where the little guys come and they suck the stuff off of the big fish, and the big fish is happy because he wants the buildup gone, and the little fish is happy because he gets the food. If it's just anything that's not,
we want no Captain Ahab stuff. Yeah, we don't want no Captain Ahab.
Don't murder the whales. That'll make me so sad.
Yeah, no Captain Ahab stuff. I agree. I don't.
And last thing, very last thing. You said earlier. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep stopping the thing. Blah blah blah. Brother, we've seen all this video. Okay. We've seen all of this before. The reason why we're watching is for you to interrupt and to give your thoughts. That's what we want.
Okay.
All right, I'm out.
Thanks, buddy. All right.
Later.
Thanks, Guy. All right, we'll pick it up from here, guys. We're into one of my favorite ships, the Reclaimer, as she burns. Let's watch that. What a great thing with the fire propagation, right? They did a great stuff on that later on. Smoke looks good. Poor Reclaimers. She ain't gonna make it. Now, this is cool. This doesn't seem like a big deal. Have you guys ever been driving on the highway or someplace like that, and all of a sudden you see like a cloud kind of go over and pass over you real quick? You see the shadow, rather, I should say. That's what they're saying here. The clouds actually cast their own shadow on the ground now, which, it's so funny. When you put in things that are normal to how we live, you don't notice it because it's natural. Some of you have been on the moons before when the sun is setting and you actually see the shadow moving across the ground, right? I mean, that's the net, and it's so cool. Some people say that's overkill too much. No, that is cool. We want the verse to feel natural so that when things happen, we know that time is passing, or we know a storm is coming, right? These are all great indicators of stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that they put in here that give us visual cues of things that are happening or going to happen in the game. So I'm loving the fact that they're going to this level with the detail. I know some other people just want to get to the game. Yeah, but you're missing so much if you don't allow them the room to put this type of stuff in the game. Pedro's throwing it down with this music, man. It's just good stuff. Little outpost there with an antenna array. By the way, every time they do these openings, and sometimes people miss it, Chris always has somebody in the video that usually says, "Hello, CitizenCon," or something like that. And the last time they put it in, people didn't hear it. They missed it. They were cheering or something. And Chris tried to tell them, "Hey, the guy's saying hello to you." And here's a guy out here once again. I think he either waves or something, but I think this might have been that normal guy. But look at the settlement here. You know, somebody who has found this spot out in the middle of nowhere to set up their home, you know, whether it's an NPC or this, what we will be able to do as players. You know, you're going to stumble across places. It's not like places are going to be obvious and stuff, right? Which is cool for your own safety and security. I think he waves. Yeah, he does wave. Yeah, okay, he waves. Yeah. So it's very, very cool. Okay. See? There he is. He's waving. Very good. Here we go. I know many of you all saw this and thought of The Mandalorian right away, right? Departures from Tatooine. But you know, you guys know Chris is strongly influenced by Star Wars, so we get it. It's a great ode to Star Wars, if nothing else. That's a good question, Black Intellect. They do talk about that later, about settlements when you have your own place, and they break down the security levels of each one. There are some places where you're probably not going to have to worry about that at all, but those are high security areas. But if you decide to go out into the wilds, you will have things to put up for defenses and stuff for your building. I know people always say this a lot about people are going to come in and destroy your settlements and stuff like that. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. And I know a lot of it comes from when we look at games like Rust and other games where people do a lot of that, but those are survival games. And in survival games, a lot of stuff is built around resources and people wanting to get things because there's scarcity. I think that you'll still have some of that. You're going to have those raiders and people who see a settlement and want to go through it. But for people with their private homes and things of that nature, I'm curious as to whether it's going to be worth it. You know, what are you stealing from somebody when you go there? If you destroy their property, here's another thing too. Even if you're outside of UEE space, you're still going to be in places where there are other people who have governments and laws and rules. You're going to have gangs. That's one of the reasons why the ratio between us at a 9-to-1 ratio, where there's way more of them than us, you have enough problems worrying about those folks, let alone regular gamers. And space is a big place. You know, there are going to be people who set up communities so that there are people who are all together in one spot. There will be people who have a random spot by themselves. Will they be taking a chance being out there? Yes. Can they fortify it? The question is going to be, is it worth it to destroy it? Now, there may be the lulz side of worth it. You know, they just do it for the heck of it and it just means nothing. And all they want to do is just blow up somebody's stuff. That could be a factor, but it's costly. And I think economy is going to be a big factor in determining people's decisions to how crazy they want to be. You may have that opportunity to blow up a station once, but later on, is it worth it for the amount of money, the wear on your ship, ballistics? So many of you guys like ballistics. Y'all got to be eating them bullets. That lead's going to cost you money. You might be doing more energy weapons later on. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. CIG is going to have to figure out what guardrails they can put in the game to maintain some level of sanity, but also leave enough latitude and room for the crazy as well. And they're smarter people than me. I always say that work there. So we'll see what they come up with. Okay, let's see. This caught everybody off guard. Really cool. This is settlement, like I said, whether it's NPC or not. Let me ask you another question. To build a settlement like that, how much energy and effort, you guys saw later on when they were talking about building camps and stuff, how much energy and effort is it going to take to build a small settlement like that? You've got all the wind machines, you've got solar powers, you've got silos that are probably keeping water and materials, resources, mining. I mean, I don't see a settlement like what we just saw being something that somebody slaps up in a week or two, unless you got a bunch of people who, as a community, decide to say, we've got all this stuff, let's contribute it together to build this. And how much time did it take them to get those resources? People are so focused on gold and quantanium right now, but freaking copper and aluminum and iron, which sells for absolutely nothing, may be vital when you go into places like this, right? So to me, to start building out stuff like this, I hope it takes months to do it. Literally months to get it at this scale. Maybe the first week you've got your little hovel that you're living in. But after that, when you start needing all the things you need to build this out, you need time. Object containers. Let me break this down about the object container stuff. You guys know this, some of you know this already, but the whole object container thing is how we get into our ships. It's a container inside of a container inside of a container, right? And that's basically how it works. When you put your ship inside of another ship, you're moving into another container. And they're able to do that, unlike, which is a loading screen situation where if you go into the ship, you now have to load in another thing to be inside. There's a big difference in that. And that tech is very complicated to do that so that things can fit inside of other things and they remain and can be moved. Yet, thank you, Black Intellect, nested Russian dolls, right? But you can go in and mess with any of them, which is pretty cool. Okay. All right, let's move on past the settlement. But I love this stuff. The wind farming, I love it. Beautiful stuff here. Physically based water effects. Oh, look at that. The Gladius flying together. 3 of them out there all together. Look, there's the third one. There's the third one. Now, that water effect. I heard some people complaining about the water effect. Oh my God, CIG fans, give them a break. They introduce something brand new and we say it looks kind of fake. Yeah, no fooling. Tier 0. They'll get it refined. It'll get better. But just the fact that they're introducing something that we didn't have before. Let's celebrate the fact that CIG keeps coming up with things that maybe we weren't thinking about. Guess what? We were satisfied flying over water with no water effect before. We were. Nobody was complaining about it, but they've introduced it now. And what does that effect mean? What is it going to do later on? Just like now, you get blasted over by your ship now. Very cool that they added that into the game. Okay. Next thing they show, though, is something we didn't expect to see. Physically based destruction. Okay, so physically based destruction gets added in. I wondered if they would ever do this, and I think we'd had conversations before about whether they would do something like this. And I was really, obviously when you play Battlefield or any of the DICE games as a standalone game, yeah, very cool. But for them to introduce this into an MMO, and people say, well, what's going to happen when they start destroying things? One thing that CIG has to its benefit is its lore. It really does. It also has the benefits of what they're working on for Quanta and AI. So you could go to an area like this, it's a settlement, maybe it's a mission area. This is just me talking, y'all. But you go to this area, you get the mission and destroy it. And it's gone, right? It gets wiped out. You do whatever it is you need to do. The cool thing is that there's so much real estate that CIG could start that same mission again for a different person, but at a different location that gets put in, right? Procedurally dropped because the mission gets pulled. Doesn't have to be back here, someplace entirely different, but the same mission. And now that person who's moved to a certain level of reputation can do that mission. And maybe when I come back to this area a week later, this thing is still destroyed. Maybe I come back 2 weeks later and the NPCs are rebuilding it. There's no mission there for me, but the area is being restored, right? 3 weeks later, it's all back operating. People are walking around, but as long as I don't have a mission, there's nothing really I have to worry about there. And then they can recast somebody to come here. The cool thing is that they can create a world where it never gets boring. That you don't, if I go back here, I know I can go here because that's where this is found. They could, and they do that now, right? They already are doing that. Remember when we first started with Jumptown? Jumptown was in one plot spot in yellow. We knew where it was. Then later on, they went back and said, no, we're going to make it so that Jumptown now moves around to different places. They could do that with missions and everything so that the game could not be predictable. That's one of the difficulties with games. I hate it with certain games where people have memorized maps and they get the advantage because they've memorized the map. Somebody comes in new, they don't know the map, they take advantage of them. Well, these jokers can scramble the deck every time for all of us, all the time, and make it so that the game is always fresh whenever we come into it, which I think would be very, very cool. Let me stop here. Admiral Kusanagi just stepped in. Hey, Admiral, how are you?
Hey, Griff. Welcome back home.
Thank you. Did you want to talk about something we saw or something we're getting ready to see? I just want to know so I'll know which way to go with the video.
I'll just touch base what you're going on here, and then I have a meeting in a few minutes anyway. Sure. So people complaining about the water effects just like blows me away because, this kind of like, I was blown away that they got this type of fidelity, quote unquote fidelity. Mm-hmm. And I think it looks fantastic. If it came out tomorrow, I'll be perfectly happy with that. But like you said, it's like tier 0 or tier 1, or whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. So it's actually going to be better than that. And that just is like, I can't even like the concept. I can't even like fathom what that would look like in the future. Mm-hmm. The idea of like a plane crashing into another plane, I think might have a few of the community a little bit on edge, because I know people recently talking how they think shields should be stronger so you can just bounce off of people. Mm-hmm. And this is like the exact opposite of that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. And I think you're right on the mark regarding the settlements, because it would be nice if they could kind of be rebuilt over time. So I think that's a really good way for them to go about that. So you could actually revisit an area what it looked like originally, and maybe put some life in there at the same time.
Yeah. And again, that, like you said, because there are so many, don't get me wrong, we could have the human mission areas too, right? Like if you come and destroy my home, I could either decide to rebuild it there, or I could say, you know what, this area is too hot. Let me find someplace else to build, right? But for the NPC type missions, my thing is keeping it fresh. I don't want to know that if I always go to this, like Calhoun Point, there's always going to be this thing there, and all I got to do is keep going there and I can get gold, you know what I mean? Or I know I can get armor there. Not only moving loot around, but also moving the missions around, so that if I get this mission, and you could even tell me by you saying, Griff, I did this mission on Microtech and it was this, and I said, oh, I just got that mission too. But guess what? It's not where you went. It's someplace else, right? and maybe they've juggled things around even a little bit. So, this is a lot of room that they have to do.
Well, yeah, like you attack an area, and then okay, well that area got attacked. The NPCs weren't too happy about that. They increased their defenses now, and they decreased, and maybe that item you got, like that Jasmine artifact, is no longer there ever again.
Right.
But they didn't like what happened to them, so they actually go and put up a lot more air defense and all that, so on. So it's just a little different, and maybe. When you were talking about destroying an area and then the NPCs coming and redoing it, that wouldn't be always the case. They would be like, well, it's maybe not worth it, or maybe it is.
Right.
Or maybe they like the setting and they just decide that's what they want to be. So, or they decide to move.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
very cool.
It's the same thing for resources too, right? Like when you're mining, Tony said that you'll mine an area where you literally mine out all the resources and they're gone and you've got to go someplace else. He said now over time, it may come back. We don't know what that time frame is. It might be 6 months, right? It might be a year before all the gold that you pulled from this particular area, it starts to restore, or just restore someplace differently on that moon or planet. Again, their universe is so big that there's so much they can do that it becomes unpredictable. That's what I want. When I played Elder Scrolls Online, let's say that you had been playing the game and you were like a level 10 and I'm a level 5 and I get this mission. And then you say, what are you doing, Griff? Well, I'm going to go do this mission. And you'd be like, oh, I can do that mission with you. Now, what they would do is they would bump you, even though you were level 10, if you did the mission with me, they would bump you down to a 5 so that you couldn't be OP, right? But the mission was still the same. You know what I mean? We went in there. You knew exactly what to do going in there and knocking it all out, And that's okay. But I'm saying I like the idea that they can shuffle the deck with this game and keep it fresh. Even if you revisit the area, it's a little, like you said, maybe you come back this time and they talked about Quantum being able to learn and do better. So like you said, maybe next time you come back to that area, instead of having 2 turrets there, maybe there are 4 turrets there, right? Because it's been attacked previously, right?
Or even what you said earlier was that, if you say you did the mining area and it's supposed to come back eventually or potentially, it doesn't always have to be maybe like an exploration ship. Hey, I just found a mining vein over here that I couldn't find earlier. So then that like jump starts it. So you still have the exploration of the mining orgs trying to find new minerals and stuff like that. So it helps them out. So it's all around good stuff.
Good point. Yep. Thank you very much, Admiral. Good stuff, brother.
Thank you.
Feel free to look and watch. Here we go. Yeah, Kai, you're right. I like that. You're absolutely right. Now, this was cool. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. Woo! They went into this a little bit about blood, sweat, and tears, I think was the segment that they did. And people were like, oh man, what's the point? But the one thing I liked about this is, I could be wrong. Okay, let me first say this. I only saw about 10% of the presentation. I said this earlier at the show because we were in the community area. And even though there was a monitor, people were talking to us, greeting us. So I couldn't hear the audio. So even if I saw it, I couldn't always hear. I put my earbuds in. There was a 15-second delay. It wasn't matching up with the video that I was at, so I missed out on it. But I saw this and I got really excited. This was so cool because if you go into the medical profession, and like right now, some of you know when we go into a bunker and you get downed, you get shot. The person that comes to do medical on you, they take the medical gun, they scan, right? And when they scan, it'll tell them where you have an injury. But I can't look at you and tell what your injury is. But these visual cues, bleeding from your nose or sweating, can tell somebody who's in the medical profession or wants to heal you this guy's level of what type level of distress you're in. So if you're bleeding from your nose, maybe that says this guy's got a head injury, right? Or some type of internal injury. Or if he's sweating, that this guy's about to pass out or go unconscious. The fact that they can give us visual cues when we look at each other in the game, like Ryan, you're supposed to be able to talk to each other, but these visual cues add so much more to the realism of playing the game and the immersion. Because right now I go down and look at you, you're laying on the ground. I can't tell what's wrong with you. But if I look down there and see this guy's got blood coming out of his mouth or his nose, oh God, this guy's really hurt bad. Those type of visual cues will be so cool. Let's see. Medical is my chosen path. And this, yeah, very cool. Yeah, absolutely. Socially, very cool. Yes, I heard about that Black and Slate, but I haven't watched it yet. Thank you. I will say this before we listen to this next few minutes, because I'm going to wrap up in a little bit. Because we're just doing an overview of this opening today. But when the schedule came out for this, a lot of people asked, some people were curious, right? They're opening up talking about the engine. And then there were other people who were like, why are they talking about the engine? Like, that's the boring part. Let's get to the good stuff. But I think everybody who saw this opening, and maybe you guys felt the same way if you weren't there, was truly impressed. We didn't expect that. And of course, the presentation they do afterward to go into detail was even better. This was really, really important to see because this kind of gave people and even some of the articles are saying this now, that this shows where the money went. It really does. It really does reflect it. And of course, as we go through the show, we learn even more. But man, this was a really, really good presentation. Let's watch a few minutes of this and then we're going to probably wrap it up. There's STEM Citizen, New Soul. By the way, Chris was truly, truly moved emotionally during this presentation. A couple times you could tell he was about ready to cry. And I could be wrong, but I heard that when he was backstage, he actually cried at one point. So imagine all the monkey that's gotten off his back. 10 years of criticism. And I'm not saying he's a grown person. He understands the criticism and stuff. But the weight of delivering this product to the community and then finally being able to just show it to people, I can't imagine how he felt,
I think that sequence holds the record for the longest spline in the history of computer games. I think we're close to 1 billion kilometers traveled during that whole sequence. So hats off to the engine team and supported by our cinematic artists that put it together. I also need to call out Pedro Camacho's music, which is always beautiful and sets the scene so well. And it's pretty stunning to think that hopefully from this video, and we're going to go into some of the new features later on in more detail, and you'll see actually better representations of some of the simulation that was happening there. But it's pretty amazing to think that all that happens inside the engine seamlessly without switching, loading screens, or anything else. You can go from down up close to a blade of grass all the way out, looking at a whole planet, to moving to another star system. And that's actually one of the hardest things to do, especially when you do it at the scale we do online with that level of physical simulation, with hundreds of players, thousands of AI running around. It's hats off to our tech guys who are going to be coming up and talking about what they're doing. Now, obviously, some of the things in here aren't in the current live build of Star Citizen. Like, for instance, at the very beginning, I don't know if you noticed the conductor with the hair blowing and the tails blowing. That's all simulated in real time, and we'll talk about it on the physics part of the upcoming speech. But I'm going to turn the stage over to the core technology group to talk about some of all this new tech that you just saw and go into more detail. And we'll be rolling into Star Citizen over the next 12 months or so. And some of it, like some of the new cloud stuff, will actually come in 3.22, which is great. But before I do this, I wanted to introduce Benoit Beauchesseau, who, as a lot of you know, Turbulent have been our long-term partners here in Star Citizen since the end of 2012. And they built our web platform and our digital distribution platform, and a few years ago started to help us on developing the game. We have almost about 100 game developers in Montreal, because Montreal is a great place for game developing talent. And this year we brought Turbulent into the fold of CIG, and they're now fully part of CIG. So this July they joined us, and Benoit, who is the Chief Technical Officer of Turbulent, has now become the Chief Technical Officer of Cloud Imperium. And along with him and Marc Boudet, who is the CEO of Turbulent, is now our head of global studios. They're strengthening our management team at CIG, and I'm really, really happy to have them.
I met him, Mark, the VP.
I want to
really
introduce
nice guy.
Benoit to come to the stage, since he leads up the tech group, and he can give you a little setup of what we're going to be doing this year and going forward, and some of the new initiatives we're going to go. So, Benoit.
Okay, I'm going to put a hold on things there. I just really want to go over this opening with you guys, because you guys know we normally are doing the, what do you call it? We are normally doing the Unsold Citizens. We're going to go through it in greater detail. But what I will do, though, with you guys is go through some of my Twitter. Let me make this bigger for you guys, because I'm like way too small. Tons and tons and tons of Twitter stuff that I want to share with you guys very quickly. I'm going to try to get through as much of this for you real quick, and hopefully give you some background to why I put certain things up. If you're not following me, feel free to jump to my Twitter account. You know, a lot of good stuff here for my trip coming in for the event. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say to you guys about that. There's my buddy Fast Cart. Oh, this is my kids. Let me keep going. Okay, here we go. Let's go. I think I had shared with you guys that there's Fast Cart when he was on last week. I think this is it here. Okay, yeah, here we go. Let's pick it up. Okay, so this was me and Gio. As I mentioned earlier, we were leaving from Chicago, taking the Amtrak out to Los Angeles. That was us on the duck. Fast Cart talked about this guy photobombing me in the background here on the left. This guy ended up being the guy in the room next to me, and I had a real in-depth conversation with him and his wife for a while. It was an interesting conversation, but he was a very nice guy, actually. But yep, it's a little bit of on the creepy side when it comes to look at that picture. But that was us leaving last Wednesday, getting ready to head out. I don't know. Oh, that's Montoya. He retweeted our thing here as we were leaving. This was the hall. They were starting to get things ready for the show. And this was pretty cool. I wonder if I can do this from in here, because sometimes you can just scroll through images without going through. Nah, it's not gonna let me do it. Okay, never mind. Okay, so let me make this a little bit bigger. Here we go. There, nope, that's too big. Okay, we'll go there. Okay, now we can go here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is them doing the setup at the venue. A really big room that they were in. Okay, this is somebody's test squadron. This is outside the convention center leading up to it. Once again, folks are starting to get set up here for the con. We called the train that we were on the Soul Train. That's what we went with. We went with the Soul Train. Said we were riding on the Soul Train. This is from previous CitizenCon, I think, if I remember correctly. Once again, there's Fast Card. I didn't get to see this, but they were talking about the skeletons and stuff, right? That we're going to do in the game. Okay, this was dinner. First day. Was dinner or lunch? It was dinner. It was dinner because we left at 2:30 in the afternoon. And man, oh man, 3-course meals, really great. On the bottom there's coconut shrimp with a nice tangy sweet and sour sauce. And then I think for dinner that was salmon. It was salmon. Yes, I had salmon that was on a bed of Kiona. I forget how you pronounce that. And then we had vegetables, and I had a little Coke there, a little soda while we were there. But Gio and I both had the same thing tonight, which was really, really good. That was Captain Richard on his way out to TwitchCon. This was us stopping at our very first stop, taking a little rest break that evening, smiling for the camera. Gio had all his camera equipment with him. That was our dessert. Yes, it was delicious. Blueberry cheesecake, blueberry cobbler cheesecake, which was amazing. It was delicious, delicious, delicious. Had a great time there. About 5 a.m. that morning, I woke up. We were going through Dodge City, where Gunsmoke was filmed. That was saying that me and Fast got out of town. This was breakfast that next morning in La Junta, Colorado. Sausage, eggs, hash browns, and a croissant. The croissant was so good and flaky. It was actually good food, guys. I can't say expensive as all get out, but the food was good. No terrible food on this trip. This was us coming through the countryside in Colorado. As you guys know, when you're coming to Colorado, you kind of hit flat land when you first get there. The mountains start showing up a little bit later. This was this Geo? Oh, yeah, this is Geo. Geo woke up late, and so you could ask for people to bring breakfast to your room. So this was him having his breakfast. He had bacon and eggs, some grits, and then he had some grits and then the croissant. You could have different types of breakfast and stuff. This was me riding in the observation car with my Quark shirt on, Quark's bar from Star Trek, enjoying my ride there. This is me tweeting like I usually do. This is Mr. Hazkaha. Hazkaha was there. We've had him on the show before. He's a really nice guy. These were the other Soul citizens who came along with us. Some of you guys know them. Yo-Yo Meg, her first time coming. This is Abdi Johan, his first time coming. BBG, Big Black Gaming, over here was got his Soul Citizen shirt on, first time coming. And then Gomob, ATL. All of them joined us for their very first time coming out. These are my daughters. I put this post up here saying, this is when you raise your kids right. As you can see, when they were little, that's them. And that's them now. Yeah, they're so wonderful. I love my daughters. They're very, very cool. All right, let's go. This is me and Gio riding. Let's see if I can get some audio on this. I forgot I recorded audio here. What's up, man?
Ow! Man.
What's up? How you digging the trip?
I'm loving it. Enjoying the views and having a blast, man. Can't beat this.
Definitely different.
I never would have came through here any other way.
Well, we just left Las Vegas, New Mexico. Don't know where we stopping next, but we're going to be doing lunch in a little bit, right?
Right. I'm definitely down for some lunch.
All right.
I don't know when I'm going to get the burger or...
They got a Monte Cristo, Jack. I'm going to grab that Monte Cristo up in there today. If they still have it on the menu. I think it's on the menu. So.
Oh, yeah. That might be a plan, too, because this will be the only lunch we'll probably get. So we got to pick wisely.
All right. All right, we'll be back a little bit later, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
I'm here with my buddy. That was fun. Good stuff there. Let's see. What is this? Westgate. Oh, it's Captain Richard. That's where he was staying at in Westgate. I'm a member of Westgate. I didn't know that. In Vegas, I haven't been to that one. There's Fast Cart. He's getting ready to leave, getting ready to take off, heading in from Boston. That was Little Snow of our St. Jude. We have to publish our St. Jude information. I started working on it last night. I got so tired I haven't got it out. I got to make sure I get it out tonight or tomorrow at the very latest. Again, the Convention Center, FC again leaving. I put this question out there before we were on our way. This is on the 19th. And I said, I'll take 4 of any of these items if they get announced. And I haven't looked at this since then, but I asked about either server quantum increase, quantum, the release of Pyro or more, the 600i rework, the Miss Expanse, Squadron 42 announcement, server stability, meshing in Vulkan. Was there more? And 4.0 release info. So I got 3. I got 3 out of 4, right? I got the release of Pyro. I got the Squadron 42 piece, a little bit of that. And then, let's see, and what was a static server mesh? They did talk about that. That was there. Okay. So I can't get too upset. I was actually very pleased with what ultimately we got back. I have no arguments about that. I did run this as a poll while I was on the train too. What was going to be your tech priority of all the tech? And everybody seems like the majority wanted to know more about server meshing. Okay. Then I asked another poll about their social priority. And it seems like what won that out was meeting CIG's devs and staff. People wanted to do that as well. Be More Breezy Gaming. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate the follow. And Edgy Hells, I'm sorry I didn't see you earlier when you came in. Thank you for the follow too. Okay. Fast Cart, once he arrived in Los Angeles. This was us going out of, where were we at here? Oh, this is Las Vegas, New Mexico. They tell you you're going to stop in Las Vegas on the train. Make sure you check into which Las Vegas it is. But that's where we were at there. Let's see. I had asked this question. Let's read the tea leaves. 3 weeks ago, they talked about 3.21 dropping in. They dropped in the jump point stations, right? Then we started doing the replication layer test. Then the next week, they dropped the CitizenCon schedule, the layout, and then they put out the F8C event. And then this week right before, they talked about the Cutter variant, the A1, and they did the Welcome to Pyro reveal. So my question was, what do you think is going to happen to CitizenCon? That was basically what that was all about. We saw the video for this, for Mission Ready that got dropped, right? All that good stuff. Brian Chambers made an announcement when 3.21 went live. This was dinner. that night. I had these great mozzarella with this really, really sweet, like a teriyaki sauce that was so delicious for our appetizer. And then for dinner, what was the dinner that night? Oh, this was a Parmesan chicken. That was really good. There's no variation in the vegetables, y'all. Vegetables are the same every day, but it was still good. It was a really good meal. I had ginger ale with that. This was Yo-Yo Meg. She was still at home at the time. She hadn't started heading out yet, but she got her last stream in before she hit the road. Let's see. This was Smashley and her group. As you guys know, a lot of people were at TwitchCon. These are faces that I couldn't wait to meet. I've met Sigelian before. I met him in 2016 for the first time. The very first time they did a little marketplace, there were only 4 tables. It was Test Squadron, Atlas Defense, ADI, Atlas Defense Industries, Atmo Esports, and Sigelian. This was the first time in Austin, Texas, 2018, where they tested out this idea of orgs and folks having an area. In 2019, it blew up and got bigger when they went to Manchester. But this year, it was even bigger and better. So the guy in the middle right there is Sigelian. You guys are familiar with Sigelian probably, with Ultima Industries, with the fueling. But the guy on his right is one of the sweetest, nicest people that I've met in the community. That there is T Nightster. And for those of you who watch Yacht Club, T Nightster is their behind the scenes guy. He's the production guy that sets up everything for them. He is really, really, really a cool guy. He takes care of those folks. He was taking care of us. We were at the table. Griff, let me bring you something. Do you need something? Blah, blah. I mean, he just has a heart of giving. He's a really, really sweet guy. So yeah, shout out to you, T Nightster. I love you, brother. You're just such a great guy. Sigelian also made pizzas that he served after the after party that people said was off the chain. They said it was some of the best pizza they ever had. And I hated that I missed that. So this was my schedule on Amtrak, leaving from Chicago. We went through 35 stops on the way there. When we got to Flagstaff, that's where we had our breakdown. And so that was where things got kind of sucky. But it was still a great time. They fed us meals. We got to see great views. And we had a good time. As you guys know, this was the Crusader Spirit video. This is what I was talking about. A lot of people miss this. Look at this settlement here. This is not an NPC settlement, probably. I think this is supposed to be us. Maybe it is NPC settlement. I don't know. But they talk about when you have to be protected, not when the NPC needs to be protected. So there's a farm here with crops. There's a freaking dog barking in the background. Listen. Hear that?
Whenever someone is in need of hope.
All right, you guys have all seen it before. I don't have to show it to you. But I haven't flown the A1 yet. I took it out and looked at it at the hangar last night and I put it away. I haven't flown it yet. But everybody says it's a great ship to fly. This was the next day. Now, this was breakfast, but the breakfast was different this time because we had been stuck on the train at this point. This is when we're at the point where we're on for 8 extra hours. And they only had so much food because everything was designed for a 2-day trip. And we were supposed to be in LA at 8 a.m. And now it's 8 a.m. and we're still 8.5 hours away from our destination. So they had to feed us. So I had a continental breakfast. We didn't go big this time. We decided to eat a little bit lighter, but I had a nice bowl of fruit. That big oatmeal that you see Gio with, I also had that, but he wanted to have some more. So I gave him my oatmeal and ate some cereal and a croissant. But it was still good. We were definitely filled when we got through eating. Admiral Kusanagi, you're back. Okay, cool. Okay. These wonderful, wonderful people here, if you don't know who they are, these are our community managers. The guy in the back in the black there is Chris. Christian. You call him Chris. He is from Germany. Oh, not Germany. He's from, I forget where he's from. But he's been around. He was a backer. I mean, regular like us. He was a regular person. He used to always come to CitizenCon, volunteer and help. And ultimately, he got hired. Really, really nice guy. Next to him in the blue shirt, that is Ulf. Ulf was actually the person who oversaw all the community booths in all that area. Nicest guy in the world. He's in Germany. We had several conference calls with him ahead of time because, as I mentioned to you guys, we had to be under NDA. But great conference calls with him, and he's just as nice in person. Very accommodating. Anything he can do to help you. I've got a great story that I'm going to tell on Soul Citizens about an interaction with him when they started showing the hair. So I got to tell you about what happened with that. Of course, there's Jake Acapella. Jake, as you guys know, also came from the community, was with the, oh God, I'm drawing a blanket, Relay, and got hired. He is also the person that does our roadmap information and stuff like that. Jake's awesome, very cool person. Next to him is Galactica, right in the center there. Galactica was one of the newest community people who came on board. I think she's out of Austin too. I thought she was out of LA, but I think she's out of Austin, with Xylo. Very sweet person, very nice. Came to our Bar Citizen here in Chicago. She and Jake both came to our Bar Citizen in Chicago back in November of last year, and it was just awesome with both of them. I had met Jake before, but I hadn't met Galactica. Last but not least is Freya. I didn't know Freya. I'd seen her in the picture, but she came over and talked to me for a little bit. She's the newest person on the team. She's an associate community manager. She's just been with the company for a year, but very, very sweet, very, very nice. All these people are cool people, very cool people. There's Abdi as he's leaving the airport or arriving. Yeah, he's on his way. He's just at his airport there. This is some more stuff with Captain Richard when he was down at TwitchCon. Here, some of the cool people who got to come by and swing by and see us. First picture here, right behind me. Oh God, I could talk about this guy forever. But right behind me, over my right shoulder is CC Creator. You guys have seen CC in our chat before. But very, very nice guy. And he was like our Uber driver while we were there. He lives in LA, and he was like, Griff, whatever you need. I took the day off. So he got us around, moved us around, picked us up at the airport, and dropped us off at the airport. Just really cool stuff. I also had a couple other friends, Red Wolf and Archie Falcon from Test Squadron, who picked me up, and Geo, because we're both in Test Squadron. They picked us up. But anyway, here's Tree. You guys have seen Tree on Paul's show. Over here, Brian Chambers stopped by, hung out with us. That's Go Mob behind him. Hung out and talked with us for a little bit. Down below there, The Poets stopped by and hung out with us for a little bit. And then last but not least, oh God, Dr. Where's his name at? I didn't put it up here. Shoot. What's his name, guys? Dr. Oh, I can't believe I'm getting a brain fart right now. Remember, he was the guy who did the cargo stuff. When we watched the cargo thing, I can't think of his name right now. Jeez, I'm so embarrassed. But anyway, you guys know who he is from CIG, okay? All right. What is this? This is breakfast in my hotel room. This was interesting. Hey, Stingray, how are you? Tell you a great story. I stayed at the Hotel Indigo. I put my little door hanger out that night telling people, what I wanted to have for breakfast. I had to be at the venue, the convention center, at 8 a.m. That was our call time. I wake up 6:30, and I'm only like 10 minutes away from the place. I get up 7 o'clock. My breakfast is supposed to come between 7 and 7:30. 7:15, I'm getting a little nervous. My breakfast isn't there yet. I call downstairs. They say, oh, we didn't get your tag. What do you want? So I said, okay, I just want an omelet, some hash browns, some orange juice. That's it. Okay, fine. So check this out. This is where you guys get the bid. The omelet and the hash brown were $22. Okay? Which isn't ridiculous in LA and for room service. Okay? The orange juice was $6. The glass of orange juice, $6. That was real California orange juice, though, y'all. It was real, serious orange juice. So we're at $28, right? Black Sky Legion, that's going to be your bid. Anybody else want to put their bid in? How much do you think it was altogether with the, delivery and attack, the tip, and how much do you think it was? BSL says $45. Remember, $22 and $6. Ketchup is like $5. Oh, Vigil. Oh my God. Oh, that would have been ridiculous. Black Intellect, 40. Okay. All right. So here's the real number. I got to give it to Black Intellect. Black Sky was almost going to win it. It was $42. $42. There was a $5 delivery charge, a $5 something else, and a $6 something else, whatever. Anyway, when it was done, I got the thing to sign it, and it was $42. So I'm like, okay, here you go. Thanks. But it was delicious. It was delicious. It was that omelet's a 3 or 4 egg omelet. It ain't no small omelet. It was big. I was stuffed when I got through eating it. Okay. All right. This is one of the things that we had told people that if they came to our table number and give us our table, we would give them a prize. So that's why that was out there. that was announcing that we were at booth 15. All right, here's Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo shows up. She's got some folks here, which was really, really great. This is Abdi's post. No, this is Yo-Yo's post. Okay. Yo-Yo got to meet people that were part of Soul Citizen. She got to meet people that were also people who follow her. She had a real great time out there. This was all of us hanging out with Aaron Roberts, who came by and hung out with us for a little bit. Really nice guy. I mean, I can't overstate the friendliness of the people at CIG. You never feel like they're there because they're under contract to talk to you. You never feel like they're bum rushing you to have a conversation or just saying hi and moving on to the next person. They put in time with you. If somebody says, can I take a photo with you? It's always, yes, sure. Yeah, no problem. Unless they're working. If they're working, it's like, let me get to you later. I'll be back. And they usually do come back. But these people are just really, 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 really cool people, you know? Yeah, Kai, I mean, there is another side of that, right? Because there are also people, though, that when they become millionaires, they kind of, you know, think a little bit too highly of themselves as well. So, I mean, I'm glad that they, regardless of the salaries or the positions, you know, whether you're talking to, like, I had one guy who came by, he had just started 6 months ago. He was like an artist level 3. And he was just blown away with the response that people had to the place. The energy of the place just really, really got to him. Here's some better shots of the room a little bit here. You can kind of get an idea of the scale. This is the poets, his photos that he took. There's a morphologist there with him. And of course, Space Tomato next to him. They're hanging out. Fire propagation, we all saw that. Very cool stuff again. Here we go. This is when Dad Lando came by and hung out with us. That's the coin I was telling you guys about earlier. Came by and hung out with us. He sat back there and talked to us for a little while. Really, really nice guy. Lando, I was gonna say Lando Calrissian. Disco Lando's dad, okay? He's been in the community for a very, very long time. Here we are again with good old Todd Pappy over there behind me and James. I can't remember James's last name. He's right behind Fast Cart there. And of course, Geo in the middle. Those were the posters that we gave out that Star Jump Station gave us. Grim signed that. You can see there's a signature on there. Grim signed that. And so we gave out those and we signed them too and gave those out as well. Exacting Magum. Thank you. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Let's see. This was that Saturday night. The first time that the Soul Citizens were able to get together and dine and sup together and hang out together. And so we were all sitting together at the table. We had Gomab's buddy. God, I can't think of his name. Maybe Fast Carts, you can refresh my memory. He joined us as well. We were at Fleming Steakhouse and had a very, very good, nice, treating ourselves well dinner that day. It was really, really good. Let's see. This is more Star Citizen stuff. This is the next day. Verity was running around seeing everybody she could. And we hung out with Verity for a little bit. She's a sweetheart and very, very cool person. You know, sometimes people think that the content creators can kind of be a little bit on the egoish side, but they're not. There was nobody that was unapproachable or anybody who kind of like, you know, you're not big enough to talk to us. You know, it was really, really cool getting to hang out with these folks. Let's see, this is BECon. These guys are all over the place. They were shooting everything. Let's see, this is Star Citizen again. This was the video I was telling you guys about earlier with Tomato, where he
load us into the space station, which I believe is actually. So I'm here in the Pyro system. We're actually playing it, and there's a lot of stuff. But they load us into this space station, which I believe is actually Ruin Station. And it's huge. It's basically a space station as a landing zone. And you can see how deep it is here. If you look at, this is the refinery deck, which is like a place that we're used to. But if you look at how far down you can go, we're going to start from the top here, go down to the main deck. They've got some like tattooed security people in here. Is your tattoo, ma'am? I just see your tattoos. Nope, that's armor. That's not tattoos.
Roll 5, 20 minutes.
We will keep going down over here, through this hallway, down these stairs, past this workbench. We're going to turn around, keep descending deeper through this sort of general purpose area, down more stairs, take a right. Oh, I took the wrong stairs. It's confusing.
You guys see how smooth this is running too.
And working.
Imagine they're on a local server.
This guy's repairing stuff. We're going to now get off the beaten path, and we're going to kind of platform our way. As you can see, I'm wearing the Master Race medic gown. Platform our way down and down and down into the depths. I don't know what's here. I think there could be missions down here and stuff. As you can see, I actually have a mission on the space station that I'm going to, but I got sidetracked. So we're still going down. This place is huge. We are still going. Like, I don't know what's going to be here. And that is, oh, there's a ladder. All right. Yeah, it just keeps going, guys. So I don't know how deep this space station goes, but that just goes to show you how large the new location of Pyro is going to be.
Okay, so that gives you an idea again. The computers that were set up by Asus, and they had Tobii eye trackers, that flashing bar underneath. If you guys have never seen it, I've got one of those. That's what was going on. A lot of people were kind of freaking out because they didn't know their eyes were being detected and stuff. Anyway, this is Chris here when he was getting a little bit on the emotional side of things, you know.
First time I saw this, about 3 weeks ago, working fully, I cried. It's like giving birth.
We did it!
And we wouldn't have been able to do this and work on this kind of tech without all your support.
That's right.
100%.
Now, you guys
and your trust.
allowing us to take the time to do it right, to really build it. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So much for everyone, and thank you everyone at CIG that's really worked hard to deliver all this amazing stuff that will be either in your hands now or in your hands very soon. And this is just the beginning of CitizenCon. We got a lot more stuff to show you.
Yeah.
That's what we need for this MMO, guys. That's what we need.
Okay, very cool stuff. This was the moment for us, right? I told you guys the story already about the mug. In fact, just so you guys will know, by the way, Fast Cart, let me know if yours came when you get home, because mine came yesterday or something. I had these delivered a little late. I gotta wipe this off. It's got the dust on it from the enameling. But this is the mug that we gave Disco. We gave him one of these. Very, very nice mug and everything, black inside and everything. But what you don't see there is that, as I said this earlier, 3 weeks ago, he gave us a shout out on SCL and he called us Soul Friends. He said, oh yeah, when I'm watching the Soul Friends, oh no, Soul Citizens. So we named our show that week the Soul Friends, but I did the mug like that too, right? So I put the Soul Friends logo on there. So this is the mug he got. This is the duplicate. So on this side, when he's holding it, people see the real name, but when he looks at it, he sees Soul Friends. Okay. So I did not know he was going to drop it in the video like that. You know, I gave it to him while we bumped into each other and we're talking, and you know, he laughed about it, and that was it. You know, and the next thing you know, all of my people are telling me, Griff, come over here. And lo and behold, it was nice that he gave us a little product placement. So that was nice of him. Thank you, Jarrett. You're awesome, dude. Okay. With another familiar face, the man himself, the astro historian, Paul Berserker, Batman, whatever damn title he goes under, everybody knows Paul Shelley. He was so cool. Really, really cool stuff there. This is when we were going through stuff about hair. This was Galactica. This is Phalost, and I forget what this young lady's name is, but they're all CIG employees. They were all dressed up. Very, very cool stuff. We all saw the hair tech stuff. This is tier 1 of what we saw of some of the hair. We're going to get into a big conversation on this on Soul Citizens, y'all. Not this week, but I'm telling you, in a few weeks, we're going to cover 2 of these sessions each week throughout the month of November. So make sure you guys tune in to hear our thoughts about that. Once again, Sigelian. Check out Sigelian. For those of you who've seen Sigelian before, normally he's wearing his Ultima outfit that he wears. It's like that white uniform, but it's all white. It's very cool, right? But this year he decided to go for the whole UEE Admiral thing, which I thought was excellent. And you know, guys, Sigelian's into the role play thing all the way. He's got both feet in. So just so you'll know, he is really, really serious about that. Hey, BBG. Hey, Abdi. Good to see you guys. We've been showing your pictures and your faces and stuff in here. More presentation stuff here. BBG covered this. Talking about hygiene. I have yet to see this. I can't wait to see what they said about it, but I know that they did talk about it as a topic. This was a great scene. For those of you who remember the day before when they did the clothing physics and they used the soccer ball or the football, whichever way you want to look at it, and they moved it around so you could see how the stuff flowed around the body. Well, this is what Disco did. This is Chrome Ninja from Test Squadron. At the beginning, you guys saw him when we started the stream today. But this is what he did. He told him to look uncomfortable. Disco will go to whatever end possible. It was hilarious.
It works.
It was great. That was so good. So good. All right, some good friends here. We've got Buster the Destroyer. Y'all, that's Buster. Buster was dressed up as a hot dog. She had 2 or 3 costume changes that she did throughout the whole weekend. But that's Buster the Destroyer. Right here with Gomob ATL on the left. Paul Shelley, this is the second day. The first day he was in his Atmos Esports jersey, but second day he got to go back to his branding of the Astro Historian. And then, of course, Sigelian once again hanging out there too. All right, that's me with T. Nightster, the backbone of production behind the folks at Yacht Club. Okay, this is Nate. Natronics. Those of you who've watched EE Studios with Ava in the machinima, he was there. We got to meet him. He's been on our show several times, but he's such a sweet guy. He came over. He brought his cutout of Ava over with him, and I took a quick photo of them. He's also going to be producing a live action version of the story with Ava, and they're going to be he's going to be trying to see if he can get it onto oh God, what's it called? What's the oh God, it's a 4-letter word where they watch the science fiction Rust. He's going to see if he can get it put on Rust. So let's hope and wish that they get it out there. This is us once again at dinner again on Saturday night. Got some repeats here. There's Gio. You kind of get an idea now of how they set up everything with this pyro thing, with this shot a little bit, this set. This was us when we were live streaming. After the lunch sessions and final sessions each day, we kind of came in and just did a real quick briefing of our thoughts on what we had seen that day. This was the poster. As you can see, everybody down there had signed off on it. We were giving these away. Folks came by and got these, which was really nice. There's Paul there once again. Chris, back to the hair. There's Fast Cart hanging out there with Philast over here on the left. Bayor of Red. You guys know Bayor. This is Bayor over here on the right. BBG. This is when we were at the after party, and BBG had sat down near the front door or the side door of the LA studio, and he was charging his phone and just sitting there chilling out. And somebody walked up to him and started asking him questions because they thought he was the bouncer. And he's like, "No, I don't work here, and I'm just charging my phone." But BBG is what? Dude, how tall are you? 6'6"? I don't even know how tall you are, but he's tall, man. And so, Big Black Gaming is the appropriate name. 6'7". Geez, I said 6'7". Everybody told me, no, he's not that big. Okay, there you go. He said it happens all the time. All right, there's Yo-Yo and Abdi trying to squeeze in a meal while they could. They were pre-gaming before the party that night. Maiden Ariana with Abdi stopping by to say hi. Chris with FC. Chris Fastcard always seems to be able to get him a good shot with Chris Roberts at some point. And this was at the after party as well. This was me when I was being interviewed for during the CitizenCon. Everybody came by and hung out with us, all of our folks behind me. Let's get past that. We already know what this was. This blew me away. God, the housing stuff. I liked this just as much as I did the opening. This was just a pleasant surprise. They had told us to make sure that we were in the auditorium when this segment of the show came up. Let's go past this. There's the poets posing by the life scale model. We saw about the freight elevators. There's Authy along with Space Tomato being interviewed by Dan. This stuff we saw earlier, which was pretty cool, right? This really was great. Really, really great stuff. Let me speed through this. Oh, we had this guy who was dressed up as Jimmy. I never found out who this was, but he was dressed up as Jimmy. And Fast Car had called it out that somebody was going to come dressed as Jimmy. And sure enough, they did. There's Morph, Space Tomato, and DePoets hanging out. This was Cassandra. This is DePoet's girlfriend. And she was there helping him out and stuff as well. Fast Cart gets all pictures with all the women. I don't get that either, but okay. This was us when we were up talking about our group and what we represented and why we're out there at the con, which was very nice. Had a nice warm reception from people who were there. These are all, oh boy, there's a whole bunch of people here. Jeez, oh Pete. Okay, we've got Humek, which is right here in the middle. We've got Buster the Destroyer right here. We've got Mrs. Tomato. This is Space Tomato's wife, Tomato, and Ubdi, all hanging out there, okay? This is Sandy in the middle. I don't know who the other two people are, but Sandy posted that one. Once again, that's up talking. All right, there we go. We've got Disco Lando. We've got Dad Lando. And we've got Shausen. Those of you who hang out over at Yacht Club, that's Shausen, hanging out with them too. It was good to see him there as well. He's a good guy. This is Ubdi's, I think. Yeah, Ubdi took these pictures here. He's over with Zero State, here with Jarrett, Disco Lando, Sigelian, and last but not least, hanging out with, who is this? Is this, it's not Authy. Who is that? I don't know, who is that, Ubdi? Did they help me out here? I don't know. I don't know who that is. At least I'm just not recognizing who it is. Okay, I'm not sure. FC again. Hanging out with the folks over at JRDF, I'm sorry. Getting his photo over there on the bike. Very nice. More stuff on the hair. More stuff of the new visual. The upgrades, the updates to this animation was so good. We're going to talk about that later on too. Oh, Cat Goddess. Oh, that's who it was. Cat Goddess. Thank you. That was me with my little speech coming in. You guys can check that out on YouTube, or you can go to my Twitter and find out what I had to say there. It's only a minute and 50 seconds long. This was us talking about CIG. You guys did a great job. Thank you for tier 0. Now, tier 1 and 2 and 3. Here are some examples of variety that we would love to see happen in the game. BBG did a great piece on this, complimenting them for their work, but also saying, let's see it expanded a little bit more. Victoria, thank you for the follow. I saw Victoria. Victoria was at CitizenCon as well. All right, this was Ubdi on his way home. He stopped in Las Vegas and he ran into Levon G-Fan. They got together and talked and had lunch together while they were there. This is us again with the folks from New Soul, bunch of crowded folks here with us. We've got Pops in Space and Fist to Face hanging out with us. I think Red Wolf is over here from Test Squadron, and then there's Aaron again. There's another photo with him. Over here, we've got a whole bunch of folks in here. Geez, oh Pete, that came and sat in with us here as well. Again, we just had a real great time. That's all I can say. It was just a great time. I got to speed this up because I got plenty of stuff here. Gio, yeah. He's met Chris Roberts several times and Sandy as well. So it was like old friends. He hadn't seen them in a while. Got him to sign a few things for him. This was my swag, some of it. I've got more stuff I stumbled across later, but people were just coming over to my table, or our table, I should say, and bringing me stuff because I couldn't get around to see people. Challenge coins are a big thing. I'm already working on getting some Soul Citizen challenge coins together. That's going to be something else we're going to do. This was our group. We were getting ready to head out for the after party. And yeah, everybody in our group, I think everybody got to go. Yeah, everybody got to go. We all ended up having tickets for the event. And so they got a chance to talk with Chris as they were leaving, heading out, which was great. Go out messing with him. Hey, where's my $600 rework? He didn't say that to him. This is Fast Cart. Fast Cart got to go visit a place called the Scum and Villainy Cantina in LA. They have these folks used to work at Disney. They opened up a bar that is open all the time, and I didn't get to go. I wanted to go Friday night, but I was so tired after I left the bar Citizen. I couldn't convince myself to go. But he did get to go today or yesterday. Today. And so, or yesterday. And he got to hang out there. I'm jealous though. He got to go and I didn't get to go. Last but not least, Chris with Xylo. There's all of the team there, along with the folks from New Soul hanging out with us. There's Dan again, who did the interviews. There's Yo-Yo with Dan. And then today's show stream. So that's all I got to show you guys for that, okay? Really a great time with everybody. Let me say this. I am already 90% sure I'm going to go to Manchester or wherever they're at next year. Maybe they'll be in Montreal. I don't know. Maybe they'll be in Austin. I don't know. But the energy that was there this time reminded me of the importance of doing this. And I said this earlier, and I'm going to say this again on Soul Citizens on Saturday. I understand now the importance of this connection, the symbiotic relationship that we have between the people at CIG and the community. It is much bigger than the dollars. There is a relationship that truly, truly exists. We fuel them, they fuel us. It does it all the time. And you felt it at the after party. There was a feeling of celebration, not because of what happened, but what has been accomplished and what's been done. Everybody, there was a sigh of relief. I said this earlier for those of you who may not have been here, but it was as I was leaving, Brian Chambers came over and he said that last sequence, referring to Squadron 42, because you guys know that's what he's over. He said that final sequence, that was my baby, and I couldn't wait to release it to you guys. He said, you have no idea, you know? And I said, yeah, and it was probably a big monkey off your back. He said it was. They feel like all the years and months and the work and the successes and the failures and the changes have all finally arrived. And the fact that they felt we appreciated it, it reverberated with them. That's all I can tell you guys. I know it sounds maybe cliche and romantic and everything else, but it is. There is a romance. There is a relationship that exists between us and those folks at CIG. It's way more than the corporate dollars, and that's good. It's good to know that they're not so corporate that they've become cold to this community, that they don't listen to the community, that they aren't affected by the community, that they've got some plan and agenda that, you know, is unmovable. And, you know, you guys, yeah, you say that, but you guys have no idea. I mean, it's great that they feel that sensitive to us. And I think we owe it back to them to be just as sensitive. They're still human beings. They're still working. It's still a job, but they're also very invested in what they're doing for not only us, but for gaming as well. So that's going to be the end of my speech on that. I want to say thank you to everybody who was here today. It's a little different show today, but I kind of wanted to ride on this wave while it was there because I know a lot of people are still riding the wave that exists from this weekend. But there's still a lot of work to do. This was just another level of accomplishment. We're not there yet, but we're closer. And I know that also sounds so cliche because we've been saying we're closer since 2016, 2017. We're always closer. It's always coming. But the reality of it is that we really are much, much closer. And you can feel it in the game. You can feel it in the community. And we definitely felt it this weekend at CitizenCon. So I just want to say that to you guys. Once again, shout out to CIG. Shout out to all my folks at Soul Citizens, whether you made it to the con or not. You guys are awesome. And we're going to cover more stuff about what happened over this weekend. So don't forget to check out Fast Cart Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time over at Soul Citizens on Twitch and YouTube. I'll be on Saturday giving my spiel about things Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And then this Sunday is going to be our review show. We are going to do breakdowns of the sessions over the next few weeks going into November, but this Sunday is going to be about how we felt, what we saw, what was there, how things were received, how were we received, what was our feeling after leaving. Because like I said, 4 of my folks, this was their first time going. I'm also going to talk to people who were here that are Soul Citizens, who had their observations and how they felt, because we had people in our channel that hung out with us as well. So there's going to be a really cool show this Sunday, a little bit different, but it's still going to be about CitizenCon. So hopefully you guys can join us for that, okay? That's it. That's all I got. Let me jump over here real quick. I'm going to show you guys my crazy screen so you can see all the madness. But I got to figure out who we're going to raid, and I don't know who's on right now. Everybody's been streaming. Oh, my God. Oh, Montoya's still on. Let me send you guys over to Montoya because he's been going over what people have been saying about the game. Which is really interesting, some of the stuff that people have had to say about what they saw over the weekend. And he was on covering stuff that was on Reddit. So let's see, pardon me. I'm curious to see, I gotta remember his name here. He's Montoya Test. I'm curious myself. I started out his show with him and then I came over here because I needed to get mine going. But we're going to send you guys over there with him. And I might bounce back in the channel with him. I might go over there for a few minutes. So definitely go by and check out Montoya Test. Hear his thoughts, hear what folks are saying. Yeah, Montoya's our leader over at Test Squadron. He's looking at Asmongold. Asmongold gave a good review too, by the way. So check out his stream that he put out about the event too, okay? All right, you guys. Love you. You guys stay safe. Take care of yourselves. And as always, peace, love, and soul. We'll see you soon. Take care. Ciao.